All right. Hello, good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, and aloha. Welcome back to another episode of the Unidentified Celebrity Review, your home for credible news, reviews, and commentary on everything UAPs and UFOs. My name's Luis Jimenez. Before we bring in our friends and guests, we just want to let you know, remind you, please subscribe, like, hit that bell notification. That way when we go live, you're notified a half hour before. Also, check out the link below. Included in there, in my Linktree, is the Patreon. Check out the Patreon. Help support this channel. Help me keep me out of an Uber from working 9 to 5. Help me make sure that this show goes on every single day and we can provide as much content for you guys as humanly possible. So without further ado, let me bring in my co-host, my good friend, Mr. Michael Mataluni.
Hello.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
It's fantastic.
I'm great. The water cooler has changed today. The office water cooler.
Did something happen? Did I miss something? I was out of town this weekend. Did something
You were out
happen?
of town. Well, yes. A couple things happened.
What happened?
A couple things. Michael, it's not funny. It's not a funny joke. You tried this one in pre-show, and I don't think anybody laughed at it that hard. And here we are live, and you're trying to pull it out again. You watched it. I know you know what went down.
I watched 60 Minutes. Of course I did.
We're going to talk about 60 Minutes again, because we didn't get Michael's perspective. Somebody said turn the mic on.
Yeah, your mic is sounding jacked.
Wow, really? Okay,
like,
give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I think we're getting your computer mic.
I think we are.
How's that?
Oh,
how's that? So much better. Thank you guys in the chat for letting me know. Jack Ryan, thank you so much. Woo.
Yeah.
Woo. You guys in the chat are killing it. Thank you for the heads up. Damn, that sucks because that was a good
UFO
intro.
Database is here. Thomas is here. Alien Girl's here. Jack
Royston,
Ryan's here.
Luis Sua. What do you say? I swear I saw a UFO today. Cool.
Nice.
Mr. Sin, new to the channel. Hello, welcome. Let's see here. Ben, we got some, man, I tell you, every single day, this show gets
breaking.
bigger.
Yeah,
this
it's
show
amazing.
gets bigger.
Well,
we get
you know what I love,
crowds.
Lou?
What's that?
All right, so here's what I'm saying. Like, I literally this morning I texted my father the YouTube video of the 60 Minutes excerpt from last night about UAPs and UFOs, and he said this thing is going mainstream. He said I've never seen anything like this before, and he's a sci-fi guy. He's a space guy. He's a science guy, but he's never really been a UFO guy.
Yeah,
but he's fascinated by what's happening, and I just see this growing and growing. And the more folks that we have in this community who are out there and talking, and again, I'm the kind of person in this arena who just wants the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me. It's not about I need to fulfill something that I already believe. I want to know what's going on. This is the most extraordinary thing that I've ever encountered, and I want to know what's going on. And it's amazing. It's truly amazing. And now we got mainstream people who are interested. The Google trends are jacked up. The Twitter trends are jacked up. Yeah. It's all people looking to figure out what this phenomena is.
No, I love it. I mean, 9 million people saw 60 Minutes last night. That's a typical. It didn't attract any more viewers, because I don't think they really advertised it much. I was watching the golf tournament before the 60 Minutes hit, and they were having little 60-minute what do they call it? Like graphics at the bottom, scrolls. And it was all like Rafael Nadal, the first segment, our cameras, the facial recognition thing.
Right.
But I didn't see anything of any of those crawls about UFOs. Maybe I missed it, but I don't think they advertised. I think if they had advertised this and really sort of made this the main piece, maybe it would have gotten more than 9 million.
Yeah, and I got to respect the way they did it because I think they tried to sandwich it in. They tried to make it as palatable to the masses as they could. I thought that was really important because you don't want to you want to be presenting things that are the most compelling. And I've always found David Fravor's account of the Tic Tac to be the most compelling thing.
Yeah.
From a UFO perspective. So I thought that was great. And I'm really thrilled because I guarantee every single person in this chat today, every single person on UFO Twitter, every single person who has a fascination with this, who watched the 60 Minutes, texted it to at least one friend, one
family member,
quote unquote
coworker.
normie.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of normies, a man who's incredibly excited about the last 48 hours is a man that's here all the time, and he is Mr. Jazz Shaw. How are you doing today, Jazz?
I'm doing very well. I want to thank both of you, Lois and Mika, for having me back on the show to discuss this. Anybody who didn't get that joke, go back and watch the Mother's Day special. But yeah, it's no exaggeration. I mean, this is one of the most exciting times in ufology news that I've witnessed, either covering it or just watching it when I was younger. I mean, I think there's really something huge going on.
Yeah. Real quick, Jack Ryan with a $4.20 donation. He says, "You want to see a flying saucer? Scare a waitress." And that is from J. Allen Hynek. That's a pretty good joke. I've never heard that one. Thank you for the $4.20 donation. You rule. Thank you for starting things off in the super chat. Also, we got Alex Garcia's in the house. He said Sunday morning really effed it up, in my humble opinion. I think he's talking about the CBS Sunday morning hit. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get there. So I guess, Jazz, let's start with you. You were here last night. We went over the entire 60 Minutes interview, which was a massive success. We had a lot of people watching that show. But you said you woke up this morning. You were super excited when you got into our chat. Because so many people, not only are you getting friends and normies, quote unquote, hitting you up, but you're also getting, a lot of professional journalistic attention. So you're getting a lot of people asking you to come on the show, and they're not asking you to talk about the things you write about normally, but they're asking you to talk about, this UFO thing that they saw on 60 Minutes. So can you talk a little bit about today? What who's asked you to come on? What hits do you still have to do? And how exciting this is for you? Because I know it's very exciting for you. So I just want to hear a little bit about it.
Yeah, we had people from for those who don't know, I work for the Salem Media Network, and we have 170 some radio stations or whatever. And I get asked to go on and comment on different things that are in the news regularly. And I immediately this morning, after that show aired, was getting pinged like, we want to schedule this week and we want to talk about the 60 Minutes piece. And other networks, like I write at the Debrief also, and Micah Hanks called me up today and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing my show for this week. Can you come on and talk about the media response to this? Because it was such a big media shift." And I'm only going to be on here for a limited time because I'm going on Dead Hand Radio after we get done here to talk about that. And I've just been getting hammered with requests, and it's a lot more than normal. And as you said, just watching my timeline, I have a pretty fair number of followers on Twitter, and people that talk about all these other different unrelated subjects. And man, the number of people that I have never heard from about this subject who only want to talk about other things were just like, "What the hell was that? Really, is that real?" And I'm having to send out links to the replay of the CBS and the older stuff with Fravor and all that. And I'm going, yeah, this is real. I know you've been blowing it off for a long time, and I get it. A lot of people do. And now I think that 60 Minutes did us a huge favor because they have opened up the conversation in a lot of living rooms where it was not taking place before. That's my read on it initially, and admittedly it's anecdotal, but there's a lot going on with this.
Yeah. Real quick, Gerald Greenwood with the 10-pound note. Thank you, my friend. He sends it and just says, "Just for the love. Well, we feel it. Thank you for the $10 pound. We truly, truly appreciate it. Let's bring in Cristina Gomez. She was in the wings here. Cristina, welcome. How are you?
Hey there. Thank you. I am so pumped, guys. I've been getting so many calls and messages from friends who I've been dropping seeds from in the past, and now they're asking so many questions. That's why I came on a little bit late.
Yeah.
Just been jamming on all these calls. So what I want to get at is, like, we shouldn't be scared to even drop those seeds of UFO information, because it will pay off, just like what's happening right now. And they're all coming back with, like, whoa, you were right. And I'm like, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, right. No, it's been an exciting day. Weirdly enough, nobody's contacted me. Nobody's been like, Lou, have you seen this? It's weird. I think.
But don't you think that's because everybody knows you're all over it? Like,
that could be it. But usually, like, for example, the pyramid video. So many people sent me that when it came out. It was insane. And I had to be like, all right, let's just calm down. I know it's exciting, but, we got to wait for more data, things like that. But with the 60 Minutes thing, I thought for sure people were going to be like, oh, man, you were right. The 60 Minutes thing was killer. Rich, did you guys see the Blumenthal on CNN earlier? It was fire. I didn't see Blumenthal on CNN, but we are going to talk about James Clapper, who was on CNN. He was on CNN this morning, and we'll play the spot because it's very interesting. But before we get to that, so I guess, Michael, since you were here last night, what's your take on this 60 Minutes piece, man? What did you like about it? What did you love about it? Did you find anything concerning? Was there anything in there where you were just like, I wonder why they worded it like that? What did you pick up from it?
Yeah, well, actually, so I started my day. I was actually out of town for the weekend. I went to the beach, and then I took my kids to a soccer game yesterday. So I really got very little of it live, but I did wake up Saturday morning and watch the CBS piece, which I was so disappointed in. I didn't quite understand what they were trying to do, but then I kind of felt like they were intentionally trying to make this a QAnon conspiracy type situation, and I didn't think it was I didn't think it was right. Yeah. But it is what it is, and I'm not gonna get bent out of shape over it. But when I watched the 60 Minutes, I watched both the 60 Minutes piece, and then I watched 60 Minutes After Hours. And I tell you what, man, I was thrilled. I thought it was. I was telling you in the pre-show, I think I was saying it a couple minutes ago, that David Fravor's account, and now so to also have, what's her name is Dietrich. Her last name is Dietrich.
Dietrich, yeah, Alex Dietrich. Yep.
Alex Dietrich. And to have her on record now, I thought was incredibly powerful. So honestly, man, I couldn't have. I don't think I could have asked for a better showing of a more balanced and realistic approach to this subject for the mainstream audience. I thought 60 Minutes hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Christina, what do you think?
I totally agree with Mike. Sorry, excuse me. I say, like, only the first few minutes of the 60 Minute was kind of wrapped in stigma of, like, oh, it sounds crazy when you talk about this, and it's like, well, how did people react? And I found that kind of, like, boring. We've heard that in every single kind of UFO topic. Oh, did people think you were crazy? And I'm like, okay. But when Lou answered the whole "it's whack" question, he knocked it out of the ballpark completely.
Yeah, I did notice Lou's enormous collars on his T-shirt. That was one of the first things I know. He just had these huge collars that were like from the 70s.
He looks good, man.
He looks good. He looked good. He looked good. No, he presented the aspects of what we're dealing with very nicely. And I do like how you said, Cristina, like right out of the bat, he's like, we're beyond the discussion of whether or not these things are real. Like, they are real. They're in the sky. Our Navy fighter pilots, everyone's confirmed it. Now it's just we need to figure out what it is.
Yeah. I mean, there was no question for me. Like, I wasn't going in expecting any sort of new revelations or anything. Like, I had zero expectations of that. All I was counting on was a fair and balanced report on it that brought in the most important stories on this topic that could be relatable to the mainstream. That's all I cared about. And I thought that's what they nailed on the head.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love a lot of people. Some folks in the community were, I wouldn't say disappointed, but they were just like, oh, we've heard this before, we've seen this before.
Right.
But I will just tell you, we haven't. This is a new story for most people, and it's a new story for even the community because there's elements to this that we've never had access to before. Primarily the face and facial expressions of Alex Dietrich. Like we've only seen her behind, a shadow without her name, and nobody knew who she was. Now she's on Twitter.
I know. I just followed her like 10 minutes ago.
I just followed her
I haven't
too.
seen that yet.
Yeah, she's on
great.
Twitter now. So now she's engaging the community. So now people can ask her questions, and that's where it's going to get fun because that was her first public appearance. And we talked about this last night. Like you could tell she was nervous, and she was sort of deferring to Fravor.
Yeah,
Fravor looked incredibly comfortable because he'd done this 15 times by now. Yeah, he's done it so many times. So I think that was really, really a fun, awesome layer to this story. And then because she had asked, I think her first Twitter post. Or one of her first Twitter posts. Let me see what it is real quick. But she said something
blowing up on Twitter.
Yeah,
she has a loud voice already.
Yeah, she has a very loud voice. She's why isn't it pulling up? That's why. She no, she's killing it on Twitter. she's absolutely killing it. I can't even find
somebody
her.
put that in our chat later because I gotta definitely get on that.
Yeah.
The thing, if I can,
yes,
that
please.
There were certainly some people, if they follow the topic obsessively and have listened to all of Fravor's interviews in the past, who already knew this. But one huge factor that I was trying to put out earlier today on social media was when we had Dietrich sitting there and telling the story and Fravor confirming it. One thing that I think a lot of people, even some who were already familiar with it, didn't realize about the initial Tic Tac encounter they had. That was a training mission. They had no missiles loaded. They had no shots for their cannons. They were completely unarmed. And they got sent out to chase down something that nobody had one friggin' idea what it was. And they went after it. And she stayed above and was monitoring and was ready. And Fravor went down and started circling and getting in. If that thing had gotten violent, they had no weapons. These two people are some of the bravest people in the goddamn world.
Yep. And
they deserve credit.
No, they definitely do. Well, we got a $7.77 donation from NVSTR Z34. You think more non-military folks will start coming out with experiences, droves of civilian pilots / fishermen next because less stigmatized. Justin. So I guess his name's Justin. Thank you, Justin, for the donation. Did I mess the reading of that up? Did you guys understand what I was saying?
Yeah, we got it. They wrote none, or they meant non. Non-military folks. I mean, I think the answer is yes. I mean, I think that specifically military folks, I think we should kind of put them out there because those are the people who are going to be the people that the mainstream really trusts. Again, coming into this, Fravor, right? It's really difficult to be like, oh, you're crazy, and then Dietrich. And I know debuggers will come out and say, well, they both saw something, but it was, it could have been this or it could have been that. But my goodness, that to me, that's such a dramatic stretch of the imagination to think these guys can't identify, what they saw. But, I'll leave that alone for now. But I definitely think that specifically military will feel more comfortable coming out. I do think people who are non-military will feel more comfortable coming out and talking about this.
Clearly Zignal, by the way.
I obviously, guys, I put the link to her Twitter in the chat.
Cool.
So in case people that wanted to find it.
Definitely go give her a follow. So Alex Garcia with a $6.39 donation. The new closet people are coming out of is the military UAP closet. And he's right. I think, if you were ever on the fence about talking about this publicly, say you work in an office building, and what's up, Alex here? Say hello to everybody. Alex here's in the house. We got our independent daily caller journalists. So thank you for being here, my dude. Your perspective is always appreciated. But if you were on the fence, if you were sort of shy about talking about this, today was your day to come out and be like, start the conversation with, your tip of the old water in the cup. So, how was your weekend? Good, awesome. Did you see that 60 Minutes thing about UFOs? Crazy, right? No, I didn't see it. Oh, man, you got to see it. They basically said UFOs are real. That's going to prompt somebody to go watch it if they hadn't seen it. And if they have seen it, even better. Now the conversation probably goes beyond their 5-minute break to grab some water, and they're talking there for 15, 20 minutes about UFOs and the possibility of them being real or not real.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's fun. Let's see here. There was something. Oh yeah, that's right. Alex Dietrich. So she one of her, I guess, first tweets says, couldn't get anyone to listen in 2004. Let me share this. And it says, couldn't get anyone to listen in 2004. Now everyone wants to talk about it. What changed? And then she linked the 60 Minutes promotional piece to it. And I wrote back to her, first of all, Lady Dietrich is in the house, thank God she's on Twitter now. But I'm like, what changed? What changed is your face. Your face is now connected to the story. And also now we also have a senator connected to this story. Like, we didn't have Rubio in 2017 saying what he was saying. Now we got him on 60 Minutes ending the mic, the interview with a mic drop going, maybe they are something else,
Right.
and giving this look in his eyes like did you see? I mean, the way 60 Minutes ended that segment with that extra 2-second stare of Marco Rubio's flaming green eyes, Cuban eyes, as I like to call them. And just drop that mic in front of everybody, and then America's like, what just happened?
It was definitely a lot of confidence from where he started at the beginning, where he looked really nervous talking about this. He's like constantly licking his lips, kind of like his eyes were moving. And so how he ended it and how he started it were two complete different aspects.
Wow, you thought he was nervous at first, huh?
He looked nervous to me. I mean,
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Why would
No,
you
I didn't
lick your
either,
lips
but
so often if you weren't?
I
I mean,
don't
like,
know.
sure, maybe the dry weather.
Yeah, maybe he was.
Dude
he's
has long days,
it could be a couple things. Maybe he did the interview in California. It's a little drier out here, and he's in Florida. He's used to that humid air, and maybe he came out here and it got dry, and he had dry lips. I don't. When I think of Marco Rubio, I don't think of that kind of guy. He gets nervous very often.
Can we circle back to Commander Dietrich just for a second?
Yes, please. Let's.
Just so people don't get the wrong impression from the way we're describing this. Yeah, Fravor came out very early. Dietrich didn't come out publicly until now. Mm-hmm. She was in the service a lot longer after Fravor had retired. Right. Her job was on the line. Her retirement was on the line. Her family was on the line.
Yeah.
And it was not a time when you could come out and tell a story like that without risking some tremendous penalties. Yeah. So I do not fault her at all for waiting until now to tell her story. And I'm thankful that she did, but I placed no blame on her for not doing it before this. I understand.
Does anyone know if Ryan Graves is still serving?
I don't know that for sure, no.
I want to say when he came out on Unidentified, he was still an active fighter pilot.
It says former. 60 Minutes says former Navy pilot.
Okay. I'm curious if he's also come to the end of his tenure with being a pilot, and that's why maybe he's now on 60 Minutes as opposed to, a History Channel show. But what did you guys think of his one statement? And I guess I'll go first, and then you guys can give me your opinions. When he said for 2 straight years, when he would go flying every day, he would run into these things. I kind of want to call BS on that a little bit. I mean, was he running into drones every day? Was he running into UAPs every day? Was he running into, what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that statement for me felt very ambiguous. That could have applied to anything he saw in the sky. So, but I mean, with the follow up from the 60 Minutes report, he's like, you saw these every day. He's like, every day for 2 years. What did you guys feel about that? I kind of watched it a second time, and I looked back at that. I was like, I wonder if he means actual unidentified aerial phenomena that we can't identify, that we definitely 100% for sure know we don't know what they are. You know, like, do you think he saw those every day for 2 years? And if so, that is insane.
If so,
that's an insane revelation. If he's saying that he saw unidentified air, I wish someone would clarify that for me, because that is an insane statement. What do you?
We
guys
know
feel?
how many different shapes of things people see all the time, right? Mm-hmm. We hear, and lately it's like, oh, there's pyramids, there's spheres, there's tic tacs, there's discs. You know, there's all this, and sometimes there's things that look like balloons, and we all know that sometimes the things that look like balloons are actually balloons. So I kind of took away from that because I noticed the same moment. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, we see a lot of stuff that we can't identify all the time. Yeah. And I took away from that, you know, it's like maybe there was a Batman balloon that some kid had cut loose and the wind was the right direction and they saw that. You know, there was, you know, some weird bird at a distance. I don't tend to think they would mistake a bird. But, you know, they see stuff. But yeah, maybe you see something every day when you're a pilot that you can't absolutely identify, but then you have those days where you see something that's just totally effed up, right?
Right.
And I think the totally effed up part is the stuff they're coming out and talking about. Some other stuff might have been UAP, might have been, well, I'm flying along and there's a thing off there. Could be like that jetpack guy in Los Angeles, which I believe is pretty well conclusively been determined to be a drone with a balloon in the shape of a guy wearing a jetpack. Yeah. And that could throw people off, right? Yeah. But not everything is a misidentification. Some stuff is genuinely just UAP. So that's what I took away from it anyway.
Yeah. Alex Garcia corrected me. He said that Ryan Graves said it was almost every day that he saw those.
Oh, it's still pretty often.
I think he was also generalizing to the entire fleet on the Atlantic.
Yeah,
not just
okay.
Yeah, see, like that's why it needs a little bit more clarification, because that's a great point. Maybe he's talking about the entire fleet. You know, he's not talking about himself personally.
Well, he said. Right. I mean, he literally said every day for at least a couple years.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an exaggeration as well. You know, when you say you drive your car every single day, you don't necessarily drive your car every single day. You know, you have days where you stay at home, but you, in general, drive it every day. So,
right.
But still, I mean, even that often is still impressive and something.
Yeah, I mean, the explanation that with the idea that maybe it's the entire, he's speaking for the entire military or the entire, Air Force or whatever, maybe that would make more sense to me than an exaggeration from a fighter pilot. I mean, I get your point, Alec, but I would that gives me pause as well, Luis, because it's like we don't need to be talking about this topic, especially when you're somebody who has that visibility in the media and who has, you know, the credibility that we need to communicate this topic in a way that allows the mainstream to take it seriously. I'm not mad at him, but it gives me pause to exaggerate in that sort of way.
But I mean, the interviewer repeated it and he nodded. So I feel like that should be of reassurance. And here's the thing. I mean, we have to trust these guys and their reputation. I think they were seeing things that I didn't know what they were, and they're trained. They're trained to be able to identify what they're seeing in the skies. And like you guys have already said, maybe he meant his whole squadron members instead of just him specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. And by the way, I think Kevin Childress, he's in the chat. He's going to be joining us after the first hour. So we're going to be talking to Kevin Childress and diving a little bit into the IG inspection.
Yeah, so stick around if you guys have any interest whatsoever in the potential for government to cover up their knowledge, or not even have the knowledge because it's so buried in bureaucratic, unauditable red tape with no congressional oversight, you're going to want to listen to Kevin Childress, who's going to be on in about 30 minutes. So
and be sure to listen to Kevin Childress, because I have to bail out because I have another media coming up right now. Yeah. But I wanted to jump in and talk to you guys. Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed it. And this has just been a super exciting week so far. I really think go listen to UFO Jesus. We're in the middle of Miraculous May.
Yep. We're only in the middle of it. We're only in the middle of it. We still got a half a month left to go. All right, Jazz Shaw. Well, thank you for stopping by. And if you guys want to follow Jazz Shaw, he's going over to Dead Hand Radio at 5 o'clock. That's Andrew Hall's channel. I think we have that link in the description below. So if you want to go follow Jazz, go do that, because that should be fun. All right, Jazz, we'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, Jazz.
Bye.
You know what I love about you, Lou? Is you're not stingy. You're not stingy with sharing people, sending people, because that
Why
show
do I have to be
on,
stingy?
You don't.
I got Alex Garcia dropping $50 bills in the chat.
I'm just say thank you. It's a compliment.
No, I know you are. I know you are. Dude, hey, man, that's why we're here. We're here to spread the love. But Alex Garcia dropping another $50.
Wow.
Dude, I really, 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 really need you to get to my Patreon.
He likes to do it here, man. Just let him do what he does, bro.
You know what he told me to start doing? He's like,
what?
Dude, you need to start pushing a product that you really love.
Oh, we have something cooking, though.
That's why I've been pushing this Arizona. I drink it before every show. I love it. You know, he's like, dude, start talking about things you love, man. You never know. You might get a sponsorship out of it. So Arizona Peach Iced Tea, if you want to sponsor the show and my thirst, go for it. So Alex Garcia says, a little topic. While I admire Corbell's work, his theatrical approach to revealing information and evidence is a bit frustrating. It seems as if he withheld the USS Omaha footage for months. He first released stills. Thoughts?
It's his style.
I think it is kind of his style, but also we don't really see how he is releasing this footage and the clips that he gets. Like we don't know how he's obtaining them and then releasing them, because most of this stuff isn't like leaked onto some part of the net that we haven't somehow found yet. There seems to have been some kind of meeting between Corbell, Knapp, and members of the Pentagon and the UAPTF last summer. They've alluded to that some. They've talked about that, where they were shown these videos, and I'm wondering if that's when they were given to them. They have to be declassified, but declassified doesn't necessarily mean released.
Well, from what he said, and this is my understanding, at least of the first video, was that he gets data dumps all the time. He gets emails from people and service members all the time. And sometimes he'll look at them, but he can't really verify anything because, they're just private people sending videos. But when he got this particular data dump, I think he said last year he was made aware of it, and it took him an entire year to verify it. I don't want to misquote him. We got to get him on the show.
So he's waiting until he can finally get in front of like somebody at the Pentagon and get the video in front of him and say, what can you say about this? Is that
right? Well, can you confirm it's real so I don't look like an idiot when I release it? And I guess since we're talking about that Corbell, let's transition to the video because it's now been 3 or 4 full days since that video is dropped. And it's been picked up by CNN, Sager and Jetty over at The Hill. They've talked about it in the Gatti Schwartz hit this morning on NBC. So that video is getting some mainstream press because I think, in my opinion, at least all of the facts that he provided with the video helped tremendously. Like, he had the coordinates, he had exactly the times, he had everything. And it was funny because when we were talking about it on this show and we got Jazz's opinion, Jazz was like, I think it came from this the CIC, the Command Control Center, or whatever they call it. And nobody had said that until after literally right after our show. I think it was Gatti or it was Stephen Greenstreet. Yeah, it was Stephen Greenstreet who confirmed that it definitely came from the SIC. Jazz nailed it. But the thing that was also made aware of that particular part of the ship, you're not allowed to record things with your cell phone in the SIC.
No.
So who recorded this video? How did it get leaked? How are they not in trouble? Maybe they are. I mean, it's 2019. It's possible.
Well, maybe they are.
They're still in the service. But I mean, dude, that kind of, I don't know. How does that make you guys feel? That aspect of the story.
Wait, which part specifically? The fact that
the part that there's nobody's supposed to be recording stuff in that room.
Right.
So how, like.
Well, it's the same case of like people shouldn't chew gum in class or like text when they're in class, but they do it anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like,
it's a big deal.
This is almost like not chewing. This is like walking up to the teacher, chewing gum and putting it in her hair. Like this is a little bit more of an infraction because you're recording highly classified collection processes that the Department of Defense and the Navy want zero of that getting out. And now they've got a minute-long video. And I know Mick West he actually did a great job of stabilizing the video and showing the movement of it, but what he left out was the first couple of seconds of it, which really show the camera not moving, but the object itself moving, and he left that out of the stabilization because it didn't fit his argument. He got roasted for it on Twitter, and rightfully so. Like, you should have put that part of the footage inside of your stabilized version, because I thought it was a fantastic idea to do that, but then he really undercut himself when he left part of it out, and I'm so happy that people called him out and caught him on it, and then went back and stabilized the video themselves and showed a very significant movement of that object. Because again, I think we established on Friday's conversation that the object was moving with the ship. So it's very difficult to determine the speed of it because it's moving along with the ship. But when the camera loses or doesn't, when it moves and the camera then catches up to it, is when you get a real idea of how it's zipping along. But to be fair, the end of Mick's footage kind of does look like it's almost floating down. Very simple, very easy. He did have a decent explanation as to why why it appears like it shrinks and then pops back up and then shrinks, and the idea was it was a heat source that was far away and it dipped below the horizon, which gives it that shrinking look.
Right.
But if it's that far, well, I responded to it with, if it's a flare or a parachute or a balloon, why send a helicopter and submarine after it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't know at the time, right?
Yeah.
So when they were viewing that from where they saw it, like, it was something interesting. You could tell by the audio that it was something interesting and exciting, and they wanted to know, based on, it sounded like orders, that they want to know when this thing splashes, when it hits the water. And so that was all very interesting. And I think it's important. And, speaking of Corbell, I think it's important to remember, he is a filmmaker. He does have to market his films.
Right.
Part of the process of being a public figure is doing what he does. He is, I would say, like, he's a documentarian, and he's going to do what he's going to do. So we can spend all the time in the world speculating what his motivations are, but I think you just got to look at the footage for what it is and say, is this interesting or not? And you take it frame by frame, and you figure out whether or not it's something that we should be interested based on whether or not it follows the principles of a UAP.
I can tell you right now, I appreciate that he waited a year.
Yeah, checks and balances first.
Like, he's checking to make sure that these things are accurate and then releasing it. Again, take it for what it's worth. Like, when I had Corbell, especially when we were doing the big phone home, like the double, triple, quadruple checks that he would do on the simplest things,
right,
was really impressive. And mainstream news is picking up his video and his stories for a reason. There's a good reason they're doing it, and it's because it's compelling stuff. And I will be 1,000,000% honest with you. If it was the unidentified celebrity review that got that data dump, and me and Michael had to wait a year and verify it, make sure everything was cool, you could bet your ass when we released that video to NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, it better have a watermark on it, or we're gonna sue you. Like, period, full stop. Like, people need to know where it came from, and I've got zero issue with that whatsoever. It's when you hype it up, and then if you charge me $5 to see it, then I'd be pissed. Like, he's not doing that, so let's just relax. Michio Kaku, $5 donation from Moose J13. Michio Kaku was on Inside Edition tonight. Here's to hoping more scientists, physicists take it seriously. Thanks for the discussion, everyone. You're absolutely welcome. Michio Kaku's one of the good guys. He's one of my favorite scientists. I wish that the media would go to him more, because I think out of all of the people in the scientific world, Michio Kaku, hands down, is the most open-minded, most accepting, the coolest, calm demeanor when he's asked about this. He always has beautiful explanations and reasons to why you should leave a little room in your thinking to include that this could be real.
Absolutely. Michio is amazing. And so if anybody has a connect with Michio, Cristina and I are both trying to get an interview with him. So.
Make that 3 of us. Good Lord. I would kill to have Michio Kaku on the show.
I do want to say...
Not, I don't want
No, I would.
He actually might. But maybe kill
something. A fish and eat it.
Yeah, fish and eat it. Yeah. No, but as far as Michio Kaku goes, I mean, the thing about Michio is that he's an open-minded scientist. I don't know if you guys saw this, but in Scientific America, I believe today, Avi Loeb wrote a paper.
Did you get to read it?
Wrote an article. I haven't read it yet, but
we'll talk about it on Wednesday or Friday.
Okay,
what were you going to say about it?
But it's about how the academic establishment doesn't allow scientists to make hypotheses that are outside of their comfort zone. And it's so important to be able to make hypotheses outside of your comfort zone in order to test that. I was talking in our private Discord group today. It's not private. If you guys want to join us in Discord every single day behind the scenes to chat, Alec is there, Christina's there, Lou's there. If you got questions for us, hit us in the link description below. Any of our link descriptions, I believe, or at least me and Lewis, you can check that out, because we've got a connection there that we can talk about these things behind the scene. But anyway, to the point.
I got everybody's links down there. I gotta make sure. I gotta see if we got.
But that link that you have.
Link.
Yeah.
That link that you're talking about, I have it open like right on my laptop right now, ready to read it. Yes.
It's great. It's about the whole article is about how, in Galileo's day, right, the church wouldn't even look through his telescope. He's like, guys, I've got it right here. Just look through the telescope, and they refused, and that's the problem with mainstream academia.
Not only did they refuse to look through the telescope, they arrested him.
Yes.
Your house arrest.
They arrested him.
He died.
Like,
he died in house
can you
arrest.
imagine if Avi Loeb was put on house arrest today?
He'd still do interviews.
I wonder. Let me ask you this. Here's a question. Before I ask you this question, Moose1911 with a $5 dono. Could Corbell know so much about data because he recorded the videos from a computer monitor? Eat lots of Bluebell and keep up the great shows.
I think the Bluebell might be for
Bluebell
Christina.
ice cream. Maybe I think that's that's for Christina. I mean, God knows I've eaten some Bluebell in my life, but if Christina has a sponsor, it's Bluebell ice cream. So mine is Arizona peach iced tea, and Christina is Bluebell ice cream. Man, you got to start eating it more on the show, Christina.
I gotta figure out what I want to share. What I want to pitch.
She went to go get some. I love it. Okay, so could Corbell know so much about the data because he's recorded the videos from a computer monitor?
So
look at her. Oh my God, that was so fast.
And like, how do you get Bluebell ice cream on a starship? Like, that's what I don't quite understand. Like, how do you?
Let's see it, Christina.
Hey guys, check it out.
Is it just vanilla?
Yeah, or Top Ramen Noodles, guys. If anyone's listening that knows the owner of Top Ramen Noodles, Hit me up.
Cristina is really cooked into the college connection. So top ramen noodles, Bluebell ice cream. That is like the official diet apparently of college kids these days. So I can't, dude. You mentioned ice cream, and she gets a spoon in her carton. It's so funny. I love it. Cristina, vanilla's your favorite flavor, right?
Right, because I like to add all the toppings,
like to add all the
sprinkles,
toppings.
bananas, cherries.
She hates mint chocolate chip.
Corn.
Which is
Oh,
like,
what the heck?
I know,
That's-
dude.
Alex,
I
no.
know.
Okay, you know what? I liked you, but I don't know.
Like, this is where she draws the
don't
line
know.
is mint chocolate chip.
I'm
Jesus.
Sure. Jeez. I can't-
I really I thought Christina and I were like kindred spirits. Like I felt that deeply, and now that to know that she's no longer going to respect me because I love mint chocolate chip ice cream is I'm very
You want
sad.
to eat toothpaste and chocolate? Just go
Yes.
ahead. Just go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't think mint chocolate chip tastes anything like fluoride or toothpaste.
You use fluoride?
But hey,
Come
look,
on,
to
like-
each your own.
Yeah.
Christina, what's your second favorite flavor? You're gonna go chocolate.
Oh, no. Actually, I was going to say it's not even like ice cream, but it's Chick-fil-A's strawberry milkshake.
Oh,
Beautiful.
wow.
I dig that.
All
I
right,
dig
I
that.
haven't had
Beautiful.
one of those. I'm gonna have to make my way to the Chick-fil-A when this is over.
Today, tomorrow, but not on Sundays because they're not open.
Yeah, that I do know. Okay,
Brian said
Yeah.
UFO Twitter disbanded due to ice cream disagreement.
The great schism is upon
yeah,
us.
there goes all of the big phone homework, all of the unity we've done for the last 2 months just went right out the window. Just completely gone. Okay, so let's talk about what do you guys want to talk about first? The Today's Show with Gaddy, or do you want to talk about James Clapper on CNN? And we could play that, or
Well, I want
we
to
can
see the James Clapper. I haven't seen that
Okay,
yet.
would like
so
to
let
see
me
that
pull
with
that up.
Clapper.
I've got a $10 dono from here from
Chad is the
Smith,
man.
who's been one of the he was honestly one of the earliest fans of the show, if not the first. I got laid off of work for a month, so I'll be a lot more in the live streams. Happy to see everyone. Let's go! Can I get a jazz? Yes, you can, my man.
Yes, you
You can
can,
get
Chaz.
anything you want in this show, Chad. And dude, chill out on the donations, all right? You're not working for a month. Just you don't have to. Dude, we know you love the show, but we
Chad's the
appreciate
man.
it. We love it.
He popped over to the Singularity Lab, dude, and he
Yeah.
like single-handedly supports the comment section in the Singularity Lab, the post-show comments.
He
That
is the
dude is
man.
the man.
He is the man. He used to work. He used to love, like, when I first started the show, I would do like 2-hour, 3-hour shows, and I noticed nobody was watching them, and so I was like, well, let's start editing these down. He's like, no. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna try. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the long form. And here we are, Chad, back to long form discussions. So I'm glad you're here, brother. So we got a $2 donation from, God, what was your name? I know it's not NVST. Where was it? He said his name.
NVS.
Justin.
It was Justin, right? Yeah, Justin. Thank you, Christina, with your sharp mind. He throws a $2 donation. Says mint chocolate chip ice
It's
cream.
garbage.
Gross. He's grossed out by it.
Wow.
You know what, Justin? We can be friends.
Sad.
Sorry,
Chris
Alex.
Garcia with another $5 donation. Alex, dude, okay, that's what I meant to say earlier. We got to get you on the Patreon, bro, because it's just a monthly donation. You can do like $100 a month, $200 a month if you want, and you know.
But he wants to see his. He wants to see his.
Well, I guess he wants to see
the
his
super
comment.
chats
But
are
I'm
so
saying,
cool.
like, you could do like a $2 comment here and then go to the Patreon and support monthly. And I'm just trying to save you some dough, bud. That's it. Just trying to save you a little dough, but I love every second of it. What was the biggest cringeworthy moment in the 60 Minutes piece? Curious. Good question.
I think we talked about this last night, and it's that part where, and it's not even necessarily cringeworthy. It's just that part of the segment where Elizondo's talking for the journalists, really, because they don't know what questions to ask, and you can see he's fed up with it, and so he just kind of goes, he's like, here's the question you should ask me, here's the answer to that question, and he's just done with it. He's like, all right, whatever, like, I'm gonna steamroll over you. It wasn't even like cringeworthy, really, but it's the point of all of it where you can kind of see the ignorance of the 60 Minutes crew, just because I'm sure they did somewhat of their due diligent research into this, But we've seen time and time again, these folks don't necessarily know the right questions to ask, and Lou just kind of plowed through it.
Real quick, Mostly Space with a $25 donation. This is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Thank you so damn much for finding the channel and supporting us. It's hugely appreciated. This person writes, a hypothetical. Many propose UAP that mitigate inertia / go hypersonic without sonic booms are man-made. The 5 observables imply manipulation of space-time, which cancels the... What's FTL mean?
Faster than light.
Okay, faster than light issue. You comfy with thinking we have faster than light? I'm not.
Hypothetical. Many propose UAP that mitigate inertia go hypersonic without sonic booms are man-made. The 5 observables imply manipulation of space-time, which cancels... Okay. Which cancels the FTL. Okay. You're comfy with thinking that we have FTL. I'm not. Okay, so I think he's saying that the ability to manipulate space-time also implies FTL capability, which would mean that that humanity would have to have FTL in order to be responsible for the UAP phenomenon, which I totally get what you're saying, and
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's currently under research. There was a white paper by a German scientist I talked about in one of my videos like a month for the debrief a while ago, and he was. It's still theoretical. There haven't been any like actual scientific experiments on it. Right. So what we're seeing right now is faster than light objects through the sky or under the ocean. It's kind of hard to believe if they are man-made yet, but we are getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the Tic Tac specifically, like the Tic Tac, the way it moves and the way it was described by Dietrich and Fravor, I don't see any possibility of this being man-made. I still kind of like, I'll still play in that kind of, critical mind space and try to entertain the idea of it potentially being, because I don't know. But it just seems so unlikely.
The sheer existence of UAPs begs the question of whose is it? And that's a question that, we just can't answer right now. So it's tough to even entertain it because it just immediately dissolves into just a mosh pit of throwing just weirdness around. It's China's. No, it's not China's. It's the reptilians. No, it's not the reptilians. It's the dolphins. So
it's the dolphins. Well played.
I'm glad that you snuck that one in there. So Tim said, dude, the donations are on fire, you guys, today. Thank you so damn much. Honestly, every dime keeps me. That's one less hour I got to spend in an Uber. So thank you guys. It's one more hour I get to provide content with you guys. If you haven't already, smash the like button, hit subscribe, share the video. Let's see if we can get past 200 viewers tonight. That would be killer. We were so close. We're only 50 away. So invite some friends because we're talking about all of today's news. Tim Savage with a $5 dono says, do you think Greer's narrative that this is all leading up to a fake invasion has any validity? Does it hurt the cause of getting this all out? I'm going to answer this really quickly. No, it has zero validity. Zero whatsoever. And I'll tell you why. Because...
Wait, can you explain what he means by a fake invasion?
So Stephen Greer is putting out the theory that this disclosure that's happening right now is a false flag event. They're faking an alien invasion to I don't know, like
the fun Space Force. Space
Force, or to reveal their secret vehicles. I don't know what the F this guy's talking about. I'm trying not to curse on this show anymore, but it's bull. It's bull. It's up to here, up to my eyeballs in bullshit. It's bad. I think he's becoming dangerous now. It's not even a joke anymore. Like I think he should be investigated because he's accusing the government of a false flag operation. And he's convincing his 2 or 3 million followers, however many he's got, that this is what's going on.
What?
And I'm going to tell you why that's not going on.
Okay.
Right now, the wheels are in motion. Not this year, maybe not even next year, but the wheels are in motion for congressional hearings. They're coming, okay? And if you lie in front of Congress, say goodbye to it's a felony. Say goodbye to your health care, say goodbye to your house, say goodbye to your freedom, possibly. They are pushing, both Christopher Mellon and Lou Elizondo are pushing for congressional hearings. They haven't said it yet, but that's where this is going politically. Pretty soon we're going to get David Fravor, we're going to get Alex Dietrich in front of Congress and telling Congress publicly their stories for all the American people to see, where they're, with the cameras and they're sitting at the desk and they do this, and you'll see that front page news of UFOs are real. That's going to happen when we get congressional meetings, and that's what's going to happen. And if Lou Elizondo and Christopher Mellon are pushing for congressional hearings only to lie to Congress, like, good luck, dude.
That's
good luck.
That's where the June report is heading. So we could be getting these congressional hearings sooner than we think, because
we hope.
Because when the Pentagon issues a report, they'll send somebody up to the Hill to explain it, basically. So they'll send an official Pentagon representative, and then the committee will want to call witnesses as well.
Right.
And that's where they'll do that. But I assume that they will probably do a classified briefing first, which is obviously not open to the public. But I would not be surprised if Rubio and some other members of the Select Committee on Intelligence push for a public hearing, which would be just massive.
Yeah, no, it would be. It's what we want. We want public hearings. If we get public hearings on this topic, game changer. I mean,
public hearings, forcing the congressmen that haven't really kind of said anything on this to come out of the woodwork, because one of the things Rubio said in the 60 Minutes episode that we haven't really honed in on yet is that there are lots of members of Congress who are invested and interested in this subject, but haven't quite come out as publicly as he has, or a handful of others. And then there's a few people that just kind of laugh it away. But when you're having the military come in, you can't laugh in the military's face. That's how you don't get elected. So everyone's going to have to take this very seriously. And there will be, the media will kind of do a bit of a mockery on it. SNL will have a sketch. And there will be some of that, because there's always going to be some of that.
Yeah,
but
it's funny. I mean, Comedy Central weighed in on the 60 Minutes interview. They put out a meme with Elizondo's face opens like in Men in Black, and then that little alien's in there controlling him. And I can't remember who got pissed. Somebody got really mad at him. I'm like, dude, this is not. Don't waste your anger on this. This is Comedy Central. This isn't, NBC News. Like, it's cool. Like, people are gonna have fun with it. Let them have fun with it. Who cares? They're talking about it. So let's get to this James Clapper interview before Kevin.
And don't
Childress
forget, we got. Yeah, I was going to say Childress. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I see him in there. So Childress, whenever you're ready, you could pop in. But we're gonna start with this Clapper interview. Let me whip it up for you guys. Here we go.
Gave an interview to CBS News in which he says flight crews observed UFOs off the Atlantic coast every day. Here's a clip from that.
So you're seeing it both with the radar and with the infrared, and that tells you that there is something out there.
Pretty hard to spoof that. Every day for at least a couple of years.
Every day for a couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
So next month, a government report is expected to be made public on the sightings of UFOs. As the former director of national intelligence, I think there have been a lot of theories about UFOs. What do you make of these revelations? What might this be? Have you seen any yourself? What do you make of this?
Well, first, I think it is kind of, there is logic to the intelligence community addressing this, since the intelligence community has a lot of practice of dealing with ambiguity and less than complete facts. And secondly, I think it's really important that whenever we witness such phenomenon, that it is recorded and documented for the future. And when we may gather more information and have a better understanding of what's transpiring. Could there be life out there? Sure. As huge as the universe is, we really can't reject that possibility. So I think this is a good thing. The transparency. I expect this report will be filled with ambiguity as well. And people, depending on their leanings, will extract what they want out of this report.
How it always goes, right? Where there is ambiguity, people can pull what they want from it. But it does sound like it is, something that we haven't seen before, this type of transparency around this topic.
Yes, and I'm not sure why that is. The only reason for, to me, for classification would be if there's some sensitive method that data relating to so-called UFOs was collected. But other than that, I don't know why we haven't been more transparent about it in the past, and I'm part of that crime, I guess.
I was about to say.
I didn't insist on more transparency with respect to this issue.
Because a former Navy pilot.
So I mean, dude. So Michael, what you're laughing? What caught you there? What caught you on that one?
I'm thinking the same thing the whole time. I'm like, former director of national intelligence. Okay, and then he finally pipes up. He's like, well, I guess I'm responsible for that crime too. I'm like, no shit. That being said, the other thing.
Hold on, wait, real quick. Do you have Kevin Childress' email? Because I'm sending him the link through Twitter, and he said in the chat, I don't know how to use this service. Yes, you do. Oh. You were on here last night.
Yeah. I don't have his email.
I don't think I have his email. All you got to do is click it. There you go. He's here. There he goes. He figured it out. Yeah, I knew he could got it. Yeah.
All right. So let me say one more thing real quick.
Yeah. Well, I want to get everyone's opinion. I'll bring Kevin in here. Hold on a second, Kev. We're talking about James Clapper. Did you get a chance to see that, Kevin, by chance?
No, I didn't hear it. I was trying to finagle this thing.
Trying to log in. No worries.
Kevin, great to see you, brother.
No, it's good to see you. Glad to be here. Alec,
great to have you. So we were just talking about the Clapper interview on CNN, and it was interesting because one of the things he said was when the report comes out, it's going to be filled with ambiguities. And I couldn't help thinking, just like your responses to every single one of these questions. So that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, you're not going to get the whole intelligence establishment's not going to be happy about coming off of anything that's classified, much less this. So. It's going to be an interesting time to see. There's going to be a lot of people I think that understand we need to, but it's got the potential I think to be painful.
Yeah. Wait, were you going to say something, Alec?
Yeah, intelligence people hate it anytime anything gets like declassified or classification released. We saw it when Snowden leaked the files. We've seen it time and time again when other whistleblowers have come out and leaked files. They get just real upset and sometimes reasonably upset, and other times not so much. But the fact that this is now the second director of national intelligence to come out and say, oh yeah, we need some kind of program to catalog this, and I don't know why we haven't done this sooner, and taking some responsibility for that. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in his tenure as DNI, Clapper didn't even hear about this. It seems to be very segmented off into very specific parts of the Pentagon, and it just keeps reminding me of the thing that Lou Elizondo said once, and that a lot of people at the Pentagon just don't want to deal with this issue because it's worldview breaking for them. They don't want to acknowledge its existence. To them, it's just some evil thing that we can ignore. It's not really bothering anybody. Let's ignore it. Let's not poke the beehive. And that's what Lou Elizondo has said, that top people at the Pentagon have this kind of attitude towards UAP and just the phenomenon in general, and that's dangerous. Yeah. When something that is being talked about as a threat is invading your airspace, and none of our biggest and baddest guns or missiles could come close to scratching these things, if unless they wanted to. That's scary. They're not addressing the problem. They're keeping it segmented. The director of national intelligence doesn't have the information. The president possibly does not have the information.
Well, that's what Lou was bitching about. He was trying to get that information to Mattis, and it was getting held up by jerks within the department who didn't want to pass along the information to people like, Mattis and Clapper here. Like, the fact that this guy is the former director of national intelligence and really hasn't been clued in on this or debriefed on this is kind of wild to me.
I'm not sure I buy it, honestly. Like, I get Alec makes a fair point. He really does. I'm not sure I buy it.
Well, something happened, and this is one of the beauties of the IG review that they're going to do. We don't know if it's got criminal aspects or if it's just an inspection. It doesn't look like it's a scoped audit, but this is exactly what IG should be doing, which is when the system's breaking down, somebody's got to step in, look at what's going on, and then compare it to what the legislation says, promulgated procedures of the agency, and come up with some sort of explanation or a path forward. But that's done. You're saying that in every case when you get a big review like this is usually done with the agency's actually happy to have it. That would be my guess, is that they know they've got a mess, right? And they can now point let's say when it's all said and done and the IG pushes out a report and it finds all these problems with how they're handling their system, that they can make the required changes and blame the IG. Right?
I remember.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kevin. Finish.
No, that was it. I mean, that gives them somebody that they can point to and said, if they have a morale problem within the ranks, they can point and say, look, this is what the IG said.
Yeah. I remember asking Lou Elizondo if a large percentage of the monitoring and data processing about the topic was in hands of the corporate entities and military contractors more than the official agencies. And he said that he would agree with that premise. And I found that was a really big kicker.
Well, I don't know anything about the specifics of this, right? But from my experience with the Department of Energy, the way that the business systems are structured and the way that we work with contracting out so much of this activity, especially when we're not talking about a program like Medicare here, right? Where we're used to or the VA, we're used to a lot of medical billing. We're talking cutting edge stuff. So you really have to give the contractors a lot of power. And one of the things that the government relies upon in their systems is honesty, right? So if you're going to operate dishonestly because you see a potential to make money or to strengthen your corporate activities, then no system's going to stop that entirely. But you hope that somebody can come back later and pull it apart, and that's what an IG can do. I mean, I've worked in these programs before. And
hey, Kevin, would you mind sharing with everybody what exactly you did, like what department you were with, where you were, what you did with the at the IG?
I was a special agent for the Department of Energy IG for about almost 30 years. And what people don't really realize is Mellon is referred to DOE, and so has Elizondo and everything, but DOE is the agency that is the successor to the Manhattan Project, right? So DOE is the federal agency that sets up and runs the national labs. So you hear people talk about Los Alamos or Sandia or Livermore or Battelle. Those are all DOE operations. And so people really have no idea that a lot of this stuff gets pushed off for the basic science work. They're not building stuff. They're not necessarily always engineering everything, but DOE employs the scientists that can design and the physicists that can design new approaches to doing everything. Like I said, censoring, I think I said this the other day, sources and methods are really sensitive, so I got to be careful. But there's a lot of capability in the department for that. That goes off to other agencies, right? And there's there's a system that's fascinating that the Department of Energy uses. It's called the Work for Others program. And so the national laboratories actually, the management's pretty thin by the department on these laboratories, but the laboratories actually go out and look for and receive contracts from other federal agencies and defense contractors, right, to do work in the national laboratories because there's some specialty that exists there. And it's a lot of work. So the department's doing work for everybody. You know, I have to be careful. I have to be careful about using the acronym,
Right.
But anybody that you would think of with this is probably safe to consider that they're probably doing business. But you have to think about it. They're making nuclear weapons,
right,
and maintaining them. They've always been at the deep end of the pond, so you know, they're going to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise.
Yeah. Real quick, so Alex Garcia with a $10 donation says, could there be a reason for that? Maybe it's because they're waiting for cushy jobs after they retire with a contractor. Follow the money, homies.
It's always good. That's what I always said. Follow the money.
Yeah. I feel like Kevin is the perfect person to talk to when it comes to follow the money.
Yeah, I did. I've done it in the labs, and I'll tell you, it's not easy. If you try and get in and get access to the special access programs to look at not the scope of the work they're doing, but just how they spend the money. That's a very difficult process.
Well, I guess that kind of answers. I was going to say that kind of answers one question that we had from the chat, and that was, can the IG look into black budget programs?
Oh yeah, if it's happening. So what happens when you enter into Work for Others agreement? This is why it'll undoubtedly jump in part to DOE. Is that the other agency, like let's say the Department of the Air Force, renders up some funding to go to the department to do work on their project they want worked on. That funding actually becomes the Department of Energy's money at that point. And then so the IG can look at it, and it can look at it wherever it's spent. And that is a vice versa thing even for DOD, IG, and the Department of Defense. You can make it difficult to get to see stuff, but you can't keep them out.
So you're saying somebody, the investor, or sorry, the IG of the DOD can investigate the DOE, but what ability does the IG of the DOE have to block the IG of the DOD?
None. So no,
None.
The way it works is that the IGs are limited. The IGs are limited to their agency, right? So if the Department of Defense IG needs to look at how a project was handled within the Department of Energy, they'd have to go to the Department of Energy IG, and we did this all the time. You do a joint investigation, right? I mean, so you get a lot of cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, but it usually works out just fine. But there's mechanisms to do it, and vice versa. I used to have to deal with IGs from lots of the national intelligence agencies and stuff because the stuff we were working on was actually for them.
So Alex Sears, who was in our show, he had to drop out because his dog busted out of the front door. he said, keep rocking it. Well, dude, if you catch your dog, come back in. No worries, dude. You're always welcome back. And this was also a very interesting question from Sneaky Toaster for Kevin. He says, where's the line with private industry? If the government is implicated, ex-private companies contracted by the military or DOD?
Well, the line is really defined by the contractual instrument that through which that company does work, right? So you have to evaluate these contracts, what the contracts say, and that really gives you your guides on where you're going to go, what would be a violation, what is it not right to do. It's never okay to commit fraud or to waste the government's money or to lie and deceive, right? So those are things, if you find them happening, it's not even up to the Department of Defense to make that position. In my experience, it's up to the Department of Justice. So they'll look at the facts and circumstances and say, oh, this is fraud. I don't give a shit what you. Excuse me. Excuse my.
Shit's good. We can
don't
say shit.
care. We don't care what your agency, council or your agency leadership says. That's fraud. We can't let that happen, and they can step in. Now that's a tough call, and it's something that doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. The Department of Justice can step and say, "Look, you can't say that, agency. You can't let that happen. Otherwise, it breaks down. The system breaks down."
Right. So I have a question, Kevin. So why? All right. So a lot of times when folks are talking about things like Area 51 and the potential for metamaterials and materials that have been procured from UAPs, and when we think about like secret programs to study UAPs and things like that, people often will point to the DOE. Why is it so easy for the DOE to have secret projects?
Well, it's no different than DOD. I mean, you can set up whatever programs you want. They're allowed to use the National Security Act and everything. DOE's got a little bit of a different classification system. They use something. They use like a letter process. You can have a top secret equivalent would be a Q clearance. Right, and you still can have SCI or SAP programs that go from that, and then for like a secret clearance, it's an L clearance, right? And then you've got the people who have no clearance, which is simply just red badges, no clearance. So, but it's the same thing as the military uses. I don't understand why it's different, but that would be a fascinating thing to know, honestly, is why did the Department of it's an outflow from the Atomic Energy Commission after World War II. Why did it need to go to a system where they use Qs and Ls for clearances?
Right.
Because the effect is it's no different. I had a Q clearance, and if I was to go to work for the Department of Defense, it would switch over to a top secret clearance.
Right, because I could, in the Department of Defense, I still have access to nuclear weapons. I still have nuclear secrets. Yet for some reason, the DOE, because they have nuclear secrets, can operate under much greater cover. It seems bizarre.
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what I don't know what the reasoning is for that. It's interesting though. I do know that it's helpful to have to make it difficult when you're dealing with adversaries, to make it difficult for them to know what to target from a counterintelligence perspective. So, anything to confuse the waters is probably good. The problem is that when you get into a system like that, now you're relying on trust. Whenever you introduce the requirement to rely on a human being, you're starting to rely on a human being. Things can go wrong, and it's only as safe as the character of the people that you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. Real quick question on that, and then I'll get to this $20 donation question. The human element of that you just referenced to. How much can we trust the human element coming from, say, a Fravor or an Alex Dietrich? Like, how do we know that what they saw, like Mick West is claiming, is just not a mistake?
Well, there's a lot of things I would look at from an interviewing perspective when I look at them to see if the person's telling the truth. Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice any deception. But if you think about it, what is the benefit to them? There's no reason not to tell the truth. There's actually every reason in the world not to talk about
lie,
right? To say I don't know what you're talking about, right? I mean that if you think about it, that's actually the converse is true. It's the incentives really historically are don't say anything.
Right. Well, that's a great point. So we got a $20 donation from Mostly Space again. Thank you so damn much. Thank you for finding this show. Green Street had a guest on the Basement Office who brought up some alleged DOE records on UFOs. The main claim was that UFOs don't look like what we think, and they appear as we expect them to. Thoughts? Now, this is totally a speculation question, but, you know, does anybody have any thoughts on sort of this claim that these UFOs appear as if, you know, as we want to think of them?
I think it's a fascinating question, and I actually mentioned this today in our Discord group because people were talking about, I think it was something having to do with debunkers, and so I was just bringing up the point that it's so important for us to, you know, if you come from a belief perspective or if you come from a debunking perspective, you're setting yourself up for bias and self-fulfilling prophecy. So to avoid that, I try to stay as agnostic as possible. And, you know, from a scientific method standpoint, you have to maintain that, you know, that skepticism. But there is interesting evidence, and you'll see it in paranormal communities and conversations, that maybe belief has something to do with manifestation. And I can't confirm or deny that. But you know, for me, the jury's still out. I don't know the answer to that question, but it is a fascinating question.
Cristina, I figured you'd have something to say about this aspect of it.
Yeah, I go ahead.
Cristina?
No, oh, me. Sorry,
Yeah.
I kind of heard like, so I wasn't sure if it was me.
Yeah, no. I was saying that I the first person that I would think would have a sort of an opinion on this aspect of the phenomena, I figured that would have been you.
Like what Michael said, it's fascinating. It's not something that I've thought about. But now that Mostly Space has brought it up, I know I won't be sleeping tonight.
Kevin, did you have a thought
How
on
else will they get? How else will they get to you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that I came into this topic backwards. Gosh, it's been about 13 years ago now, and I didn't come on get it hooked up with that the UFOs are related. So I really think that ufologists and a lot of people, and you don't see Elizondo do this, and you don't see Mellon do it, but a lot of people have a preconceived idea of what the borders are on what this phenomenon can do, right? So we hear about the Jetpack Man in LA, and we hear about the Batman balloon, and we hear about, I think your guide was right in 47. Excuse me, when I think it was whoever the security officer was for the Army, said they had memory metal. You could crumple it up and it could change, go straight back out to what it was. We can't set limits on this phenomena. We can't understand it. They have technology we can't understand. So you can't say something's impossible. Right? I mean, it could look like a Batman balloon. I've had sightings where I've watched it change shape. But I mean, I don't try and argue that that's a fact. It's just my observation. But I don't think that anyone can say this is impossible for it, that's impossible for it, because it can jump around and break the laws of physics, right? Yeah. So when you're evaluating this, how can you say, I'm going to get to say what's possible and impossible?
Right.
You just have to observe, try and keep your discernment level up there and see what makes sense.
Well, here's an interesting statement here. Man, get Kevin and Lou Elizondo in a room together and let them cut loose. What do you think of that?
We'd have to put that behind a paywall. No.
Yeah, I think that one I'd have to put behind a paywall. I've never considered a paywall, but that would be a pay-per-view type moment. That is for sure.
Yeah, Lou's a special personality, and I'll tell you, there's lots of guys just like me throughout the government. There's lots of guys like Lou, and I think people are always amazed that the caliber of the military personnel and the civilians. It's when you get up to the level and you get into these jobs, where you have national security responsibilities. It's a calling. It's not I didn't do it to make a lot of money.
Right.
I did it because I was called to do it. And so it's easy to put your life into.
Yeah. Well,
and you get great people because of that.
Paywalls aren't a bad idea. I'd pay $80 a pop, high demand. I think people want to see this, Childress. If I can make this happen for free, I will. Because I can get in touch with Lou. I can get in touch with Kevin.
I'll probably get some kind of call from agency counsel anyway when somebody sees this. But I'm not crossing a line. We're just talking about, I think one of the biggest things that people need to spend some time on is civics lessons on how the government works.
Yes.
And how it expresses itself, because people get glossy-eyed when you talk about contracting and the accounting stuff and everything. But you know what?
That's where the juice is.
We do work through money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they say follow the money. If you can't understand how the money works, then you're going to be lost.
I've got a good idea, Kevin. Maybe we can make this happen. Mike, follow me here before I get to Alex Garcia's $5 question and donation. Have you ever seen, anyone here in the chat, have you guys ever seen where somebody narrates a story or their personal story and somebody's drawing it on like a chalkboard or like a easy erase marker board, and it's almost like a picture by picture telling of this story that goes along with the story?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get the visual and the story. So it's much easier to understand something incredibly complex.
Yeah. I actually know somebody who does that.
Okay, if we can get Kevin to hook up with that person, and whatever the cost is to do this, I'm making him turn red, I think, a little bit here.
No, you're not.
Making him nervous. Okay, I don't want to make you nervous, but
a life objective of mine.
Yeah,
and it's about politics, but this works too.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea, is to give a civics lesson essentially on how the IG works, how it can help us in this argument, and more specifically, what their power is. What's the process? What's the step-by-step process of the IG, so people can understand the information that you're laying down with a visual representation, so that they don't get lost. It's almost like trying to explain why the 2008 financial crisis. Like when you start getting into the nuances of where that money was going and how they were doing it, into what kind of loans, like it's really confusing. And I think it's confusing on purpose. But like, perfect example, the movie that laid it out for me, where I was like, I get it. The Big Short. They laid it out perfectly for you.
Sure.
It was just a beautiful, visual representation of what the hell's going on. Because I'm not a financial guy. It's hard for me to follow those kinds of things. So I think we should set something like that up with Kevin, where he explains who he is, what his background is, what he's done, with cool drawings going along with it, and then the IG. Here's the civic lessons, here's the things that are important that we need to know, and what the IG can do, because I think it would help with a lot of confusion going on with it. I mean, we could talk to you till we're blue in the face, but I think if you had like a story to tell, and you wanted to tell the story, I think we should do something. What do you think, Kevin? Is that a decent idea?
I'll help all I can. You gotta remember,
of course,
that, my stories are owned by the government.
Yes, so we got to be careful. I'm not saying to give classified stuff,
but we could talk about, ideas of generally how it works, and we could find some scenarios that we can work with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'll help however I can. I think people need to understand this, and
or we could do like a school. We could do like a Schoolhouse Rocks cartoon, like how a bill is made, and have like Kevin
like how a bill. Yeah, exactly. We can make a little song with it. What the IG is gonna do. But like, instead of talking about UFOs or UAPs, we could just sub that in with apples or oranges or whatever.
Well,
we'll
work
topic.
it out. We can
figure it out.
Actually, doing it with a UFO is a great idea, because
there you go.
Heck, no one's admitted anything about funding UFO research, so. We could talk about that all we want. I might not use real company names, but I don't see a reason.
Yeah.
If I didn't work on it,
right.
and I don't think anybody's worked on this topic, honestly.
Yeah.
So
you don't think anybody's had
perspective?
When you say nobody's worked on this topic, do you mean nobody's had hands-on with the tech? Is what you mean? You think?
No, not tech. I'm talking about system, how the systems work, how the control system works from the government's perspective of looking at it or whatever. I don't know, but my guess is, based on what we're hearing, no one's ever looked.
Yeah.
So either it totally doesn't exist or it was cut free from the federal government years and years and decades ago, right? Yeah. And left to somebody else to carry out.
Right. So real quick, Alex Garcia with a $5 donation. Thank you, my man. Kevin, can you speak on code word programs at the level at which they are classified? Meaning, what's the hierarchy of classification?
Well, when I worked for the Department of Energy, you had a no cleared or uncleared person. Then you had somebody who would have a secret clearance, which was basically an L clearance, and then you'd have a Q clearance. And then above that, you have just what you're used to hearing from the Department of Defense, the special access programs, right? So they usually have ways they refer to them. So you could call that a code word, but that's sort of how it works. There's nothing too mysterious about it. It's when you get a bunch of people who get clearances. Like you were in the military, Michael, right? So you got a clearance.
No, Michael's not in the military.
Okay, well, if you were, most people get especially if you're like Air Force or Navy, they'll get a top secret clearance. That doesn't give you automatic access to anything.
Right.
It just says if you need to be made aware of a program, a code word program,
get access.
You can be brought in. That's all it means.
Right.
Well, there you go. So real quick, I was going to talk about this before we went into what you do, Kevin, but I think I kind of now would want to get your opinion on it. So are you familiar with, let me make sure I get this guy's name right. I know his last name is Sheehan. Danny Sheehan.
Guys, I have to get
You got to go? All right,
yeah,
Cristina.
I do.
Well, enjoy
Thank
the Bluebell
you.
and the ramen. Is there anything you'd like to let us know before you go?
No, just thank you so much. Check me out on YouTube at Paradigm Shifts and on Twitter at Eyes on the Sky. So I hope to see you kids there.
Yeah, so the answer was yes. He definitely had something else to say. All right, girlie,
and follow all of my friends, including Kevin.
Yeah, and her link is, by the way, in the description below. That's for sure. All right, thank you, Cristina. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
So I wanted to. Are you guys familiar with Danny Sheehan? Who he is?
I've heard that name. Not.
Okay, so he is now the attorney representing Lou Elizondo.
Oh, I heard of
this. This is the attorney that helped set up and help Stephen Greer and Stephen Bassett in the early and mid 2000s with the disclosure hearings. I wanted to get your opinions on him because I don't know a lot about him. I know he had some really big
attorney.
What's that?
How do we know he's Lou's attorney?
Well, he said it. He said it on two different occasions, and the things that he said kind of ring true. I don't think he'd be this aggressive with it if it wasn't true. And he's an attorney. He's a civil rights attorney. Is how he started. I think one of the biggest civil rights laws that was written, he had a hand in it, or something like that. Again, I don't know a lot about Sheehan, but he, the thing that worries me about him is that he was a very big he represented his Stephen Greer a lot, and it seems like he's separated ways with him based off of this conversation or conversations that he's been having the last couple days. But the thing that I found interesting about what he was saying, the first thing was when the Susan Goff and the DOD basically said that Lou Elizondo had nothing to do with the ATIP program, and that was a few weeks ago. And remember when I said, Mike, it sounded like he was pissed. Okay, especially when he kind of threatened the government with a lawsuit in an underhanded. He's like, if I wanted to, I could sue them.
He could.
Well, that's exactly what Danny Sheehan said last night. He's like, when that happened, my phone call rang. I got my phone.
Oh, it's very significant because what she did is take the man out of scope of his protection for his working for the federal government, right? So let's just say if something somewhere comes up down the line that, you know, there's litigation involving this subject or whatever, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get sued, right? But it's important if you're a federal employee and you're working on it for the federal government, you need to be in scope so that the government automatically takes over your legal defense. Well, then it's not automatic, but it's automatic, right? There's a small infinitesimal chance that you won't be in scope, but that it never happens. Yeah. Because otherwise you will never get anybody to work for the government, right? Yeah. If you can take on that sort of liability. But he should be mad. You should be hopping up and down mad.
It seemed like he was pissed and he was being very reserved about it. Right. But he had a slip in an interview where he's like, you know, if I wanted to, I could sue the hell out of them. Like, and he said, I think he said shit. I could sue the shit out of them. I think was his exact words.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that Sheehan had said, I guess, you know, Sheehan is one of the more go-to attorneys in this field.
Right.
Because he's one of the few that will actually do anything with it. But the one thing I found that was interesting, I think there was a conversation between Sheehan and Elizondo, and this was happening when he was with ATIP, and this is all according to Sheehan. And I did see the question in the chat. I have not seen Lou Elizondo confirm this yet, but according to Sheehan, he's Lou Elizondo's representative. He is going to the IG on Lou's behalf. So, and he also said that Lou was the person that initiated the IG investigation. It was because of Lou that happened, according to Sheehan.
It would make some sense.
It would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense. But the thing that I thought, go for it.
Also, that the IGs have it. So if people think that, well, we might be able to figure this out if I'm a FOIA person or whatever, IGs are never allowed to disclose the names of federal employees that may have been the source of a complaint. Right now, that said, I mean, if it gets to where it's got to be used in court or whatever, they can remove that, but it usually never happens. Otherwise, no one would make complaints to the IG. I mean, for the most part, IG employees, you know, it depends on your personal relationships you build with the people you work around in the agency. But, you know, it's never good to have, you know, the internal affairs people showing up. Yeah. Right. So it's hard. You need to protect the people that are bringing allegations and information to you.
Yeah. Well, the thing that Mikey, I'm going to send this to you so you could watch, because this was out of a 4-hour discussion last night that was on
Cameron.
God, I can't remember. The name is slipping my mind, but it's a very prominent UFO researcher. And there was like 50
something
people
Cameron.
In the room. They did
Grant
Cameron,
right?
Grant Cameron. Yeah. They did a live stream on his channel through Zoom. It was a nightmare. It was like people were raising their hands to talk. It was funny. But the most compelling part of it was Danny Sheehan and his claims that he's now Lou Elizondo's lawyer.
Yeah, I actually heard that.
No, this is he said it twice already publicly. And I can tell you right now, if Lou Elizondo doesn't confirm this by next Friday, when he will be on our show, we're going to ask him, because I think this is a very, very interesting development, because I want to know, first of all, I got to find out more about Danny Sheehan and his involvement, especially with Stephen Greer. It is honestly one of the biggest red flags I see in this development. But I am curious to know why he left the Stephen Greer effort, what was going on. He also called out Greer in this interview, saying that his theory of that this is a false flag operation is not valid. So that's coming from his former attorney. So that's another reason why you shouldn't believe Greer. But past that, another thing that he said that I found very, very interesting was at some point when Lou Elizondo was with TTSA in that time frame, that Sheehan had got to Lou Elizondo, they had a conversation about changing the narrative of this phenomena from threat to unknown. And I think from an attorney's perspective, that was one of the best moves I would have ever recommended to TTSA, Lou Elizondo, and Christopher Mellon. Take the word threat out of it, because I will be honest with you, when I heard that, all sorts of alarm bells went ringing in for me, because I'm in the generation, and I've said this a million times, I grew up when I was born 1980, the 80s was the Cold War and the Russians and how evil they were. The 90s was Saddam Hussein and Kuwait. The early 2000s was 9/11 and then back to Iraq and now Afghanistan and all these other messes that we're in. And it's been a 25-year war. And every time they sell us a new opportunity to drop more bombs, it's always with the caveat of it's a threat. So right. The idea that, and I think it was season 2 when they changed the name of the program from Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program to the UAP Task Force. It is, I think, one of the best marketing suggestions. If it's true that Danny Sheehan was the guy that pushed that, I think that was the best thing they could have ever done for the face of this conversation. Because if they were going on 60 Minutes calling this thing a threat, and I think he did, and then quickly corrected himself, was like, look, it's not a threat, but we have to know that this is unknown. Like, you know, he always uses the analogy of somebody walking into the house, a locked house. You walk downstairs and get your coffee and there's muddy boot prints. Nothing's been taken. Nobody's hurt. But is that a threat? You know, and that's sort of his analogy that he always uses. And it's a great one. But that word threat really, 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 I think pisses people off, especially people in my generation that have just been fed war, constant war. And for especially after reviewing the first season of Unidentified, that was my biggest complaint, was this pro-military industrial complex television show telling you how great and how, you know, innocent the military is when it comes to conducting tests not only on themselves, but American people and adversaries. They do it all the time. So this idea that, oh, we wouldn't test our planes on our own people. Yes, you would. You've done it. You've done it. Like, we wouldn't fly highly, you know, sensitive craft over major cities. Yes, you did. You did it with the F-117 Nighthawk. You flew it over Los Angeles multiple times, sometimes in the middle of the day, just to see what the reaction would be, to see if people would call the police department, to see what people are doing when they see these things. And so that's data. That's information. You know what I mean? Well, and so they use that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating, Luis. I appreciate you bringing that up. And it reminds me of the conversation we were having the other day about if, let's pretend for a minute, and I don't want to piss off the chat too much, but let's pretend for a minute that the Tic Tac and UAPs are the U.S.-built intelligence, U.S.-built technology. And let's pretend the DOE was responsible for building them. Let's say, even for example, let's say we reverse engineered something we found and the DOE was the best place to do it. And the DOE is responsible for running the operations. What would the DOE want to know? They might want to know what the hell a fighter pilot would do if they ran up on one of these things in over the ocean. Right? Maybe.
Sounds reasonable to me.
It's reasonable, right?
But not only that, let's pretend that we did have that tech. If you were going to test it on anyone, you would want to test it against the best equipment on the planet,
which is yours.
And who owns that equipment? We do. You know, Kevin, are we way off base here? Is this crazy talk?
Well, you know, I default back to this a little bit, that you know, the government, when I first went to special agent training school, basic training, you know, you spend a lot of time in learning about the Constitution and what your role in it is. If you're granted special agent status, it only means that the government's granting you the ability to do things that no one else is granted to do, right? So you need to understand the implications of what your actions are according to the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So if you violate someone's constitutional rights, right, the government didn't violate their rights. You violated their rights as an individual. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things we have to keep in mind. The government's made up of individuals. There's no government, wearing a suit somewhere, walking around. There's no U.S. government, in clothes you can talk to. It's people, and people have weaknesses, and and I always think just as I would speculate in my mind, because I think about the World War II generation and what they had to go through with World War II, and how they would be able to use, their scale for how they'd evaluate using different types of activity to learn about technology, whatever, would be different, because they were used to seeing people killed wholesale.
Right.
Right. So, I like to think that when it's all said and done, I'd like to think that these guys or these people who may have done some stuff that's not cool in the history were doing it for the right reasons. Right. But still, the Constitution matters.
Right.
You don't get to, and that's why I think I've heard Lou say in some shows, he was upset, and I think it was about some former Air Force guy who was ridiculing people or setting them up, or I forget what the scenario was, but the government shouldn't do that. That's not your job. It's not your job to make your citizens look like, drive them into madness or make them think, basically gaslight them.
Right.
Well, but again, to your point, to Lou's point and what we were talking about earlier, they do it, right? You have what was the operation in the late 60s? Operation
where they
MK Ultra. They were dosing people with LSD who didn't know it within the government, even civilians. Like this is known. This is known to happen. But you're right.
You've got the Gulf of You've got the Gulf of Tonkin. You've got the Panama Papers. There's so many examples of just art. And I think you're right, Kevin, when you say it was part of this generation, this World War I and II generation, who looked at death wholesale. Like they literally crawled through dead bodies to save the world in some cases. My grandfather was an airborne ranger and parachuted in the middle of the night in France. And some of the stories that man told me are insane. And I think you're right. They were desensitized to the violence. So when things like MK Ultra or these crazy programs that get approved, they're like, what, we lose 20 people if we mess this up? No problem. Go for it, boys. Have a ball. And I think that all of those minds are starting to work their way out of the system. And hopefully they haven't, hopefully they haven't passed along that ugliness of themselves to whoever's taking taking over, I guess.
I hope not too. When I first started out, we actually had with Department of Energy, we actually got a visit to our facility by Edward Teller, which was pretty cool to meet somebody like that.
Can you for the chat and for myself, I'm trying to remember who Edward Teller is. Can you give us a quick reminder?
The man who basically invented the hydrogen bomb, who took it from an atomic bomb to a hydrogen bomb. So it's pretty cool. But those guys are, they're dying off. There's very few of them left. They're out of leadership, but they would have been present up into the 90s.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you want to speculate about a program, there'd been some still control over it easily through the 80s.
Yeah.
If that's what's going on.
Easily.
But we still have Guantanamo Bay, and that is not. We could argue about the constitutionality of Guantanamo Bay, but we still have it, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
then again, Guantanamo Bay is not on U.S. soil.
It's not on U.S. soil, and they're not U.S. citizens.
Tricky.
Yep. So that's the.
But but when you're of that mindset, right? You can
You can
people
justify
want to
it.
make the boss happy, so you can kind of, romance your decision-making matrix, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it fits what you want to do, and that's but like I said, I'm just speculating on that, but I'd like to think that, and actually, I supervise people at the end of my career quite a bit, and I hire young folks. I actually feel pretty good about the new generation, the millennials or whatever you call them. I found that, there's some maturity issues that everybody has to go get out of in their 20s, but I thought their sense of balance was way better than certainly mine. I graduated from college in the late 80s, and back then it was all Michael Douglas and Wall Street and make money. That's all.
Greed. Yeah.
Greed. I'm serious.
Yeah. No.
So
that was a Reagan initiative. It was, we were going to become, first thing he did was took off the solar panels that Jimmy Carter put on the White House and was like, nope, this shit's out of here.
Yeah.
We're an oil-based country. Get it out of here. And it was like the stock market went through. Yeah, it was all just me in the 80s. So real quick, we've got a couple donations that I want to address. The first is from Sneaky Toaster, $5 donation. It says, awesome chat /stream. Kevin, can Lou Elizondo be released from his NDA to speak with / brief in the IG on what he actually knows that he can't speak to the public to?
Interesting question.
I don't think he would be released from his NDA. I think the IG investigators would be read in.
When you say read in, what does that mean?
The program.
Okay, but what if Luis? Okay, so if Luis holds the information, then them being read in would allow them to speak to Luis openly, or excuse me, Lou Elizondo openly.
Right. If they have to talk about some activity that's covered, usually NDAs come along with, SCIs or whatever, then, you would get read into it to look at it. And that's actually better because then the agent can go further than just talking to Lou. They can go and now look at the program itself and talk to other people in it. So I think that's what happened. And these things are classified for a reason. Right. I mean, I disagree a lot sometimes with how we classify a lot of stuff, but I can't say that when you get into those sort of programs.
Right.
It's done for a reason. You just got to trust that isn't being abused to hide some other activity. That because you do get a lot of relief from oversight in those programs.
Right.
Interesting. Here's just a really nice thing that someone said, $5 dono. We're on a new level. I agree. It's a whole new day. It's a new level of information. Things are being talked about that have never been spoken about before, and it's fun. Alex Garcia with another $5 donation. My favorite person ever. Ex-officials continue to say that they don't know why they've been keeping UFOs info secret. Do you buy that?
That's what Clapper just said, and he was like the head of the National Intelligence Agency.
Yeah, do you buy that Clapper hasn't been put into the loop on this topic, or do you think what he's? I mean, from what I saw in that CNN interview, it seemed like he was being very honest. Honestly, it didn't seem like he was clued in at all, which is kind of like I felt like he was a little shocked by that, But I mean, do you think Clapper hasn't been briefed on that stuff, or is his position?
That's
no clue.
Impossible to say.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's who knows. That's just speculating so far that I don't know.
Yeah, it would be.
I do want to be careful. I don't want to give people the wrong idea either, because it's a human system. It's not perfect.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, it seems like some people in the X Annihilator thinks Clapper is full of BS. I mean, dude, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, the thing is, Clapper's no longer part of the system, so we can't get too mad at Clapper. If this was the current director of national intelligence giving us this answer. I think maybe you'd have a decent reason to maybe be a little upset, because with all of this information that's going around right now, it's trending on Twitter. It's the thing that 60 Minutes and all these news programs are talking about. I think right now that would be a great question for the current director of national intelligence.
Know. I think you're letting them off the hook too easy, Luis, because
so?
this is what they do. They abuse you while they're in office, and then they sweet talk you when they're out of office, and it's like that's pure gaslighting, is it not?
But we don't know. It'd be gaslighting if we knew that he knew.
Yes, but I'm just saying, if he did, then we shouldn't be letting him off the hook so easy.
Yeah, I just think, when was Clapper director of national intelligence? Just for the Trump era or right before? I can't remember. But if it was just for the Trump era, I would imagine that UFOs probably wasn't high on the list for Trump. Just a guess.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. He was curious, I think, though, don't you think?
He was only curious when people asked him. It wasn't it wasn't something that he talked about, like I remember the first response he had to it. He's like, yeah, no, I don't really believe what's going on. Oh. And then it was his son who was like, so Dad, what do you think about the UFO thing? And he's like, well, he gives his, I don't know. It could be true, maybe not, blah, 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 like his typical, New York bullshit.
You, right?
Yeah. But he did sign the stimulus bill, and in that bill he knew what he was signing. That was, he did know that he was going to start the countdown to that. So if something comes out, look,
I don't think he cared either way.
Such a Trump move, but let me tell you something right now. If this report in June, or if let's say it gets delayed, let's say even another 180 days, but let's say this report comes, I'm sure it will too, but let's say it comes out with something sensational. The first person you're going to hear from is Donald Trump, and how he was the president that led the way in getting this truth to the American people.
It'll be in his blog.
I promise you, dude. And guess what? He'd be right. Technically speaking,
he signed it.
He signed it.
Space Force.
He set up Space Force. Like, dude, this guy. Look, in 20 years we might be saying, you know what, that 4 years of Donald Trump actually might have been worth all of this disclosure. Who knows?
Life is funny that way.
It is funny that way. It is very funny.
The amount of people who were like missing George W. Bush when Trump came to office was astounding.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours. We're going to take some calls. I don't know how much time you got, Mike, but I wanted to ask you before you leave, Kevin, what is the question that people are not asking you or asking when it comes to this topic? Like, what do you think is the most important, relevant question that, say, an Ezra Klein or I should be asking? I just put myself in the same breath as Ezra Klein, by the way. I don't know why I did that, because we are the complete opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to credible journalism. But what is the question? Like, what should people be asking about this?
Well, you say that, and I was like, oh my God, that's a hard question. But what popped in my head, and I actually honestly believe it, is it's a question they need to ask themselves. What does it mean to you if this is true, that there is another civilization, either of aliens from other planets or interdimensional or some spiritual thing? What does it mean to you, right? Because that's the hardest part, really, is coming to grips with it yourself. Because when it actually finally comes out, and I think it will, that's going to be the most important question, because it's going to rock your world. Going to change everything you think about it. It's going to really make you second guess and reevaluate the things that you believe.
Damn good answer.
Damn good answer.
Damn good answer.
Well, just real quick, Nesdet Era says Luis is BS. Well, thank you for being part of the show. I do appreciate it. I'm glad that you're commenting. If you think it's BS, just hit the dislike button. But keep watching. Please keep watching. I'm just saying. Okay.
He's been here for a while. He's got a lot to
Yeah.
say
He's
he's enjoying the show, for hating us so much.
I know, man. Yeah. I mean, did you watch the first part of the show? It was pretty good. I mean, I know my audio was messed up for the first 30 seconds, but geez. All right. Well, Michael, do you have any more questions for Kevin?
No, Kevin, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'd love to have you back sometime. I do have more questions, but I know we don't want to monopolize your time.
Sure.
But we'd love to have you back.
Whenever you want.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to try and set up a Lou Elizondo, Kevin Childress conversation. Let's see if I can make it happen, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
But I've already requested him for 2 different appearances. This would have to be way later down the road. But what I am definitely interested is hooking up Kevin with the artists that we were talking about earlier. So maybe we'll have that conversation in our private chat. But Kevin, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being such a cool dude and talking to us about the intricacies and nuances of this IG investigation. And we're going to have you back to dive into it even more. Sure. So yeah, man, anytime you want to come on, you just let us know in the chat. We'll send you the link anytime.
All right.
Kevin, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it, bro.
Bye.
Man.
Pretty good.
What amazing people were able to get on the show and talk about this issue.
I mean, he worked for the Inspector General.
Yeah.
In the Department of Defense.
Energy, excuse me. Like, if anyone on the planet knows how the system works, it's that guy. Yep.
And that guy is telling us, follow the money. Even though it's really hard, follow the money. So we've got... I put the stream link in the chat. We already got a caller. I love it. I thought it was going to take a hot second to get somebody in here, but it's not.
These streams are starting to blow up, so I think you're gonna have more and more people. Make sure you tell them the rules again.
Yeah. Please don't be naked. Be connected to a Wi-Fi signal, and also.
We should add "Don't be a dick" also.
Well, yeah, but nobody's been a dick yet, so
no. I'm just saying, as this thing grows,
for sure. No, I'm sure it's gonna happen. We're gonna get some dick in here for sure. That's without a doubt. It's gonna happen. But hopefully these next 2 that we have in the chat here aren't. But real quick before we get to the callers, let's see here real quick. I got a message. Okay. Here we go. So before we get to the callers, want to remind everybody, like, subscribe, share the channel. Man, we're getting record audiences every single time we pop onto this show and do this live stream. I think we were up to like 180. We almost got to 200. We were so close.
Oh, I wanted to mention something before. So just real quick. So tomorrow's show on the Singularity Lab, we're going to to be talking about exopolitics. So for those of you who
I was going to say, tell people what exopolitics is.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what exopolitics are, I need to look up who actually coined the term, but the term was coined in order to define what a post-disclosure world would look like politically. And so we're going to be discussing, we've got some pretty great guests coming on. We've got Dr. Lisa Galerno, who's going to be coming on the show to discuss exopolitics. So you're going to have to do some research tomorrow, or just come on and ask great questions and just learn. That's all we have to do.
Yeah.
So we can try the UFO garage guys are going to be stopping by.
No shit. Yes.
It's going to be super dope. So if you guys want to join us for that conversation, Luis will be there. Join us tomorrow. All you have to do in the description below is click on my Linktree. And then click on the link to the Singularity Lab and make sure you click the subscribe button, click the bell so that you can be notified when we go live tomorrow. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm still debating 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll nail that down. But all you got to do is click the bell and you'll be able to get a notification when we go live to have that conversation about post-disclosure politics.
Yeah. So let's bring on Sneaky Toaster, who had some donations in the chat. And also had some great questions. So Toaster, can you hear us?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. Hey, guys.
Oh, there we
Can
go.
you guys hear me?
Awesome, man. Yeah, we can hear you great.
Awesome.
Hey, shaking.
Toaster.
Hey, you guys had me on a while back, a few weeks ago, right?
That's right.
Talking a little bit about Jacques Vallée stuff. First off, Mike, I just want to say, tuned into your the Singularity Lab when you had on some stuff with artificial intelligence the other week. Really appreciated that. I'd say go check out, his podcast and video.
Thank you, brother. I
stream.
appreciate
I really
that.
appreciated that. So tonight, obviously, really appreciate Kevin, being on and involved in the conversation as well. So really quick, so Jacques Vallée's new book, The Best Kept Secret, right? It did release, if you guys were aware. I don't know if you guys are going through that.
I've read the first half chapter.
Yeah, it's kind of I find it's a pretty good page turner. And I don't want to spoil it because I haven't gotten to the end of it. I've gotten about 40% through. But for everyone's just brief synopsis, because I do think it has a precedence in the conversation that we're all having.
Yeah, please.
And that's Jacques Vallée basically is finally bringing forth a lot more scientific, concrete evidence regarding not only metamaterial or exotic materials that he's collected from, I believe, over 50 different locations, right? And he's gone through Stanford Research Institute, done a lot of scientific just investigations concerning the UFO UAP topic. And specifically, though, the interesting thing, 1945, there was a crash that happened, right, in New Mexico that predates Roswell, right? And so it's interesting because a lot of people are not familiar with the 1945 incident that happened 30 days to the day from the Trinity bomb detonation. And so one of the most interesting things that Jacques Vallée comments to is that when the bomb detonated, someone was watching. Okay, so just take this in. I mean, hopefully you guys are gonna read into the book more, right?
Yeah.
I just encourage everyone to. I am not in any way affiliated with the book. I just think it's a really good, peer review academic piece that is timely and contributing to the whole conversation.
Has this been peer reviewed though? Do you know that for sure?
So I am 95% sure this book has been peer reviewed. Now he does state, I'm 40% into the book now, and I know that he said the scientific analysis is still being peer reviewed, but will be pushed to the public and or the academic sphere, and it will be essentially the very first time this information has kind of validity in the public academic sphere on this very topic. So I believe that this book is peer reviewed, right? I do believe there's another scientist or someone else that actually went with Jacques through this process to actually peer review this. They actually have the witnesses who actually got to see the 1945 crash, and that's what's so interesting because Roswell, Jesse Marcel was the on-site police officer actually I think it was with the military, right? He came out to the site with other individuals then, but no one really saw the crash happen originally, I guess. These two children, they saw the crash happen actually in 1945, but not only that, they did recover material, like they were inside the craft. Additionally, I believe 2 other adult individuals were with them. There were beings that they talked about specifically, described them down to the T. Additionally, then, these 2 witnesses, these 2 children that were, I think, 7 and 9 years old or somewhere right around there that saw the 1945 crash, Jacques Vallée has met back up with them, and they have retold their story. So that I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing them actually coming forward and telling their story, because there is a lot of evidence that suggests that something did happen that predates Roswell.
And they're coming to that conclusion, right? Because the metals were found in 1945, and it's is it the isotopic ratios within these metals that they didn't exist before 1945, right?
Yeah, they're set, and so some of the interesting things that I'm starting to read through is Jacques Vallée starting to go through the different materials he has in his collection, and some of them have been analyzed, some of them don't have a good explanation, some of them they have verified at the isotopic level, like the atomic level. It's been engineered to a scale that we can't duplicate, and or it would cost billions of dollars to replicate. And these are all the earliest one sample that he had I think, or at least he's done research on, was something in 1879 or something, so before the 1900s.
Wow.
Right, and so all of this is adding up. Just to again go back to the original conversation we were having about Battelle Labs and just what may or may not be in the private industry sphere. You know, we do have the information that I believe we'll know more over time with Daniel Sharon or whoever Sheehan, the lawyer for Luis Elizondo. I'm interested to see where that goes, but I also want to give other people a chance if they were waiting or if they wanted to come in and talk. I appreciate the dialogue, guys. The book is really good, though. I think, again, we might see more of Jacques Vallée before the UAP task force comes out, in my opinion.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, I was.
That'd be great if you guys could do that.
Oh my God, get Jacques on the show. I mean, I saw him on Rogan, and I was thoroughly disappointed with his.
Oh, really?
Apparent. Yeah, I was very disappointed. I just don't. I found it. And I don't know if you saw this, Sneaky Toaster, an architect we see in the waiting room. We're going to get to you in here in a minute. I just didn't find it that enlightening. I found that it was very hard for him to focus on Joe Rogan's questions and answer them succinctly.
I agree. I really do. I saw the interview. I appreciated some of the information he talked about. I think some of it he's holding really close to the chest, though, Lewis, to be honest, because, again, he's risking his career in some ways, or other people he's working with. He can't give away too much information until it is in that peer-reviewed state. Right. With that being said, though, I think Chris Mellon did a phenomenal job on Rogan, right? I think that actually was a solid, super solid conversation. So thanks so much, guys, for what you're doing. I keep on tuning in because you guys do have some interesting conversations and it's contributing to the dialogue. So keep it up, and have a good night, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Sneaky Toaster landed it, stuck the landing on that one.
Thank
you, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for telling people about the show. Man, that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to provide an interesting conversation with as many angles and thought processes as we could throw at them.
Well, right. And I think it's so important, whatever you think about Jacques Vallée, I mean, I'm still a newbie here. So I'm learning and I'm interested in trying to look at this thing from every different angle. So I'm appreciative of the pros and the cons because I want both. I'm not interested in bias. I'm interested in data. So let's keep it coming, boys and girls.
Yeah. Alex Garcia says, unidentified celebrity review. I have Vallée's email. Want me to set it up? Yes.
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 That is correct.
Absolutely.
Alex, please go ahead and set it up. You just
you have my permission.
We'll be there.
Arif finally said, finally, Luis, I can agree on what you're saying. Great.
That's
wonderful.
He's been bashing the whole time. What did you say that he agreed with?
Maybe it was something along the lines of
it was Jacques Vallée, the interview. You responded to the interview saying that he was incoherent.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was.
Okay, great. I'm glad you found something. Seriously, I do appreciate it. All right, let's get Architect in here because he's been waiting so patiently.
The Architect!
The Architect is back!
He's back.
How you doing, my dude?
He's muted.
You're muted.
The Architect is muted.
There you go.
How do I
say hello?
Beautiful. We can hear you.
There you go. Yeah, just maybe a little closer to the mic.
There you go.
A little closer.
There we go. All right, now we can hear you. I'll turn down my music so that way we can hear you. What do you got?
I didn't get a chance to really get in on the show enough to really know what's going on, but if you guys are talking about those videos they released,
He's breaking up.
You really should take a look.
Can you start from the top, Architect? Do you mind? You just broke up a little.
Yeah, no, I heard. I'm hearing you okay, but maybe just speak a little louder, and so that way we can hear you. But yeah, you're just a little low.
Well, right. I was gonna say if you guys are talking about the videos that were released, I would have a serious look at Thunderfoot's videos where he does a breakdown of the videos that were released then, and then compare whatever new information we've got to the solutions that he came up with, because they make a lot of sense. Like the triangular ship video, where all of the triangles rotate in identical fashion, and they're just slightly fuzzy. It's like there's an iris for a camera that is, it creates a triangular formation whenever it's opening and closing.
So if the object is out of focus, it will cause the iris's shape to be reflected in the shape of the dots, whatever they are of light. And I'm like, if it's that easy to debunk some of these videos, why are these guys putting them out there? Because it should be fairly obvious to them that they're bunked too. So what are they trying to distract us from? Or what are they throwing this to us in order to say, well, there, we gave you your pittance, now go away, you know?
Yeah.
Wait, what about the rest? No, there is no rest. You got everything. BS.
Yeah.
You
well,
know,
I think if
give
it
us
was
the
any
full
other,
scoop, you know,
if it was
stop
any other
hiding.
time, if it was any other time in American history, I think that you're right. I think that you could throw in those videos and then disappear. But the difference this time is that now we've got the Inspector General, we've got Congress and the Senate
Hold
highly
some people's
involved.
feet to the fire.
Yep, and that's the difference. Is hopefully those feet will be held to the fire. But I agree with you. Like, I think here's the good thing that I could take from those triangle videos. My mother shared them with me. Like, it got the attention of people outside of this to look at it in a more serious way. And also, it's being played on the news. The news is running with those triangle videos or those pyramid videos, whether we like it or not. But we do know that those pyramid videos happen around the exact same time as the videos that were just released by Corbell on Friday. So this is I think partly they're trying to paint a picture of all of these incursions that are happening over our military fleets. And I think part of it is they might be doing two things. They might be showing how drones could be a very real threat to American national security, because maybe some of these things are drones and they're very explainable. But they want to be able to use both examples and kill the stigma with two stones instead of one. And it's a double prong attack the way it looks.
That gets them more money, that's for sure.
It gets them more money. That is definitely
that gives
for
them
sure,
a bigger budget.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, if they could tell the American people that there are Chinese and Russian drones,
you know, if they showed somebody, right? If you show somebody high enough up in the architecture there of our government, a real serious alien threat, they're going to throw everything they have behind that and forget everything else that they were working on before. Global warming, pandemic. All of that be damned. We have to deal with this because this is like an asteroid coming. If we found out an asteroid's coming and we got 6 months to prepare, what kind of leverage they're going to throw at that. They're going to throw everything they've got.
I wonder if an
we'll
asteroid
probably end up launching every nuclear missile on Earth.
Do you think if an asteroid was coming toward
Imagine
Earth,
it completely disarming us.
Well, do you think they would even tell
If they
us?
threw missiles at it like that, it makes it worse. Whether they would or not, if they threw missiles at it, it would probably make things worse, because instead of one large object hitting us and wiping us out, we'd be getting hit by multiple medium-sized objects that one of them that hits us would be enough to knock us out.
What we would have to do
is get 8 or 10.
We'd have to send up Bruce Willis and a team of oil rig misfits to go drill into the asteroid and blow it up from the inside.
Was that Armageddon, or was that the other one?
Yep, that is the plot for Armageddon.
At the same time.
Well, dude, it's a great question. Thank you for posing it, Architect. We always love when you stop into the chat, my dude. We've got one more guy waiting.
And
well, I was gonna say one more thing. I would say we really need to step up our own development. The heck with the investigation. Start actually working on developing stuff. You can investigate on the side. It doesn't take as much effort to do that as it does to do physical research. And there's a lot of waiting whenever you're physically doing something, while you wait from one step to the next to get done, that you can spend sitting down and doing your reading and digging and pulling links and stuff like that before you jump back over there and start the next process. Like if you're making a chiral crystal or something like that to test for anti-gravity or whatever it is that the Falcon Space Group is doing a lot of work on. So we really need to pull together, though, as an entire community. Everybody get together and just start attacking it like gangbusters.
No, I think you're right, and I think
replication technology, manufacturing technology, all of it.
Yeah, no, you're nailing it, dude.
That's
and
what
I
I'm
think
working
also,
on.
Also, it's interesting to see that this conversation that's being had, the unintended consequences from it, is if a kid at MIT or the next brilliant mind sitting in a high school hears this story and listens to the propulsion attributes that these vehicles have, who knows what kind of kid that might
You
inspire
might be able to
figure
out,
out some
or
of the
figure
answers.
out a way to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I said. I'm working on replicator technology. So, I've been working on it all my life because, when I was a kid, I was introduced to Star Trek and, the whole replicator thing. But I'm, within the last like year and a half, I've gotten more done than I have in like 20 plus years before. So, it's like I have something that should be coming out pretty soon where plastic printing, you've seen how like you get like a little 3-inch by 3-inch object that's 3 inches high and it will take 3 hours to print it. This, next step that I've got coming out, it'll take it down to like less than 18 seconds. So
that's like going from a fax machine to an email.
Right. Well, almost to the point of being able to compete with injection molding, except that you have the added advantage that every single one can be different.
Yeah.
I
love it.
They don't all have to be the same because the die has not been cast. So.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more on that too, but I mean, that's a long conversation. So, did you guys ever get a chance to look into Celeron?
No, man, I have not had a chance to look into
the people
my
who have
own
the
pants.
think on lamp.
I mean, I've been so damn busy. No, but do me a favor. Do me a favor, Arkin. Yeah, definitely. Do me a favor. Send me the link if you can on Twitter, and I'll check it out. But dude, we appreciate you coming on the show, making a phone call. We got another guy waiting in the wings, so we're gonna take his call next.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at the Singularity Lab, and we'll be back Wednesday for the Skinwalker Ranch review.
Cool. I'm in Discord too, so. If you guys want to hit me up in there, I've got a different name.
Yeah. Send me the link on Discord. Forget about Twitter.
Architect with an upside down E. So.
No, that's okay.
All right.
All right, my man.
We'll
see you soon.
All right.
For some reason, I'm getting his audio is choppy.
His audio was a little off.
Was it choppy for you?
Well,
I could barely.
It was delayed for me. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say something and then it would take a second for him to respond. So yeah, I think it was just a choppy audio. It's all good, but we got through it. Okay, so. Let's go on to this first time caller. First time, long time. Caller. First time, short time. I don't know what it is. Here we go. You ought to know. How you doing, my dude? Thank you for calling. Thank you for coming aboard, getting weird. What's your question? What do you got for us?
In the land of speculation, Lou said something interesting to Stephen Greenstreet. Stephen Greenstreet was thought it would take maybe thousands of years to replicate this technology. In reality, Lou came back at him and said, possibly, within one's lifetime, 100 years. Now stop and think, if we were doing this 75 years ago, we'd be pretty close to it now. And that's all I got.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. And I think, I definitely think that we probably didn't have the technology 70 years ago to really do as much as we would have liked then, but now it's unreal, the technology that we have. So I think you're right. I think the more time, if we have metamaterials, the more time we've had to reverse engineer, the better. And I mean, again, just looking at David Fravor's Tic Tac experience, I mean, something extraordinary is happening, and we need to find out what the hell it is.
Yep.
Absolutely. And one real quick thing about Jack Valet's story. He was saying also something interesting, how the people in that village actually found some sort of like fiber optics strung amongst the trees, and they would use the fiber optics to string on their Christmas trees at Christmas time. And of course they're gone by now, but still I thought that was pretty cool too. So
I've heard about this.
Isn't that wild?
About this. Yeah. There was a great discussion. If you go to Martin Willis's channel, I cannot remember the name of the guy, but he was talking about spider webs or like strings that would be formed off of these craft. And we've been able to recreate something very similar, something that has to do with electrifying the air, and it creates these webbings that literally flutter to the ground. You can pick them up, and they're very. It's almost like cotton candy. Like if you touch it too much, it disappears.
Yep.
And God, what a fascinating discussion that man had with Martin Willis. It's called Angel Hair. Thank you, Mostly Space. And if anybody can tell me the name, if you just Google Martin Willis Angel Hair, you will find this conversation. I promise you, it's worth your time.
I was blown away. I went into it going, what the hell is this? And then I walked out going, oh my God, this guy is right on. And he's got the PhDs and the degrees to back up his theories. So it was an interesting, very interesting conversation. So I'm glad you bring that up, because you're gonna have a really hard time finding that description in other people's UFO stories, because it doesn't happen often. That angel hair phenomena.
I've heard it a couple times.
I've heard it a couple times, but it's rare. What I'm saying is, it's not something that's in the zeitgeist. Like, if somebody was making up a UFO story, especially like an abduction story, there's so much shit they can pull from. The bug, the big eyes, the no slit, no ears, big heads. Like, they can pull from all of that stuff. But if they never mention angel hair, it's just something that you can say, okay, maybe it didn't happen, or maybe this guy's full of shit. But if they do mention something like that, they're either really into the topic and just made up a story, and I feel like you could figure that out if that's the case, or they actually saw what they're describing. And so that's interesting to say that did they talk about it in the book, the New Valet book?
I was listening to Jimmy Church, and that was one of the things that he was saying, that he wished he could have had his hands on some of that, but of course, after all these years, it's gone, and he's kind of mentioned as it kind of being like fiber optic almost. So
yeah, that's interesting that people were stringing it up, and I mean, it makes sense that light might be able to pass through a substance like that. Dude, I gotta find this conversation and send it to you, Mike. It's very cool. Well, dude, do you have anything else?
No, just thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. I'm so glad I found you, and rock and roll.
Man, great to meet you for calling. I love that you've got like a nice setting. It looks like you do this professionally. So, dude, are you from Maryland?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Born and raised, 43 years.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, listen, man, we appreciate the love that you're sending our way. We're so happy you found the channel. Tell all of your friends.
Absolutely.
We're trying to build something special here. And we give it to you 5 days a week, my man. So thank you. And
right on.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Great to meet you. All right. Bye.
Dude, what a great show today.
Yeah, dude.
What a great show, dude. We're getting all these people.
People are in a good mood.
People are in a great mood. People are in a great mood, dude. Everybody's loving life today, and I love all the people that are participating, man. Yeah. Like, look, and I know I keep going back to this, but we're a new channel.
Yeah.
So it's important that you guys know this. I drive an Uber all day. Like, that's how I pay my bills. And the more you guys support us, the more you guys become Patreons, the more we can do this and provide shows like this to you for free. They will always be free. Let's make that 100% clear. You are able to interact with this channel. You are able to watch every single video with no delayed access, no matter what your level of patronage is. So if you could donate $0, guess what? You still get the same access to the person who donates $50 in the chat or $500,000 a month in my Patreon. It's the do you have the guts tier. If you have the guts, then sign up for the $500,000 a month of Patreon. But I can tell you right now, if that person does exist, when they do exist, they will not get more access than the person that has $0. Period. And I take a lot of pride in that, because I don't know of a lot of UFO shows out there that give you all of the information as soon as they create it. So take advantage of it. And if you can support, awesome. If you can't, don't sweat it. You want to become part of the show? Wait till the end of our show and you could call in and talk to us. Ask your questions. We give you every opportunity to interact with this show as much as I humanly can do. I can't answer every question in the chat. Of course, if you donate, that's a real great way to get your question read, because the chats are crazy. There's 180 people here sometimes at one point, and everybody's asking questions, and I love the interaction. I love that you guys are sharing this channel, subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. I love that you're talking about us on Twitter. We're getting likes from Gaddy Schwartz. We're getting Stephen Greenstreet came on the show. Lou Elizondo is coming on next week. We get awesome guests like Kevin Childress, who explain the nuances of the IG investigation because he used to work for the IG. Like, these are some amazing conversations we're having, and we can't have them without you guys.
period, full stop. So I cannot express to you enough how much we love you guys, how much just watching, liking, subscribing is more than enough support.
Look what Case for instance he said. Guts patron Luis, I'm staying at your house tonight. If somebody's got the guts, I realize that they don't get extra access, Luis. Yeah. But if the guts called you and said, Luis, I'm staying at your house tonight, I mean,
it would be a very heavy consideration. A very, very. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll take the guts funds and I'll buy you a hotel to come hang out with me for the weekend. But I wonder how we could do this without it being looking like extra access.
Oh, right.
We could serendipitously meet at places. You know, I might be at the Target on Wilshire and 4th.
Well, no, you know what you'd have to do? You just have to publicly state this is where you'll be, and Guts can join too.
Right, exactly.
Guts can join too.
I'm eating pizza at the pizzeria on Wilshire and Lafayette. I might be eating pizza there, and if you got the guts, maybe meet me. You know, something like that.
I love like envisioning the guts.
I mean, dude, if we get someone who gets the guts, you're going to get a show twice a day. You know, like no joke. You would get a show twice a day if we found somebody that had the guts.
Yeah.
Because I do a show in the morning with all of my UK friends, and then I do the show at night with you guys here in the States, and we would get two perspectives. That's my dream, honestly.
Yeah, I think
that's
we need
the
to
dream.
like, you know what we need? We need like an artist to like render the guts, and then like so we can start to visualize this person.
Yeah. If anybody wants to draw a visualization of somebody who might have the guts, I think it would look something along the lines of like an Elon Musk or a Brandon
Or a Sheelon Musk.
Or Sheelon Musk would be nice. By the way, Alex Garcia has just emailed Jacques Vallée and put me in the emails. So thank you.
Fantastic.
Fan-freaking-tastic. So let's see if we can get Jacques Vallée.
He said, done. Check your email, bruh.
I love it, dude. I mean, this guy is our biggest fan and gave us some great ideas, some things that we're going to start implementing. For example,
love Alex.
We
still haven't talked about the
Peach Iced Tea.
The pack, the super pack.
The super pack. No, we had the conversation. You and I haven't had the conversation.
I know.
Yet
you guys have.
So
we haven't talked about it.
Well, he's got some insanely great ideas when it comes to the super pack. And the best thing is we don't have to do a ton of work. We kind of just have to be like, yes, no, sign this. I mean, there's work involved, but we would have to find a treasury. We would have to find basically a treasury, someone to make sure that the money goes to where it's supposed to go and that it's collected in the proper ways. But yeah, I mean, you know, the idea is to, if we had a super pack fund, we could fund the show with it, number one. Number two, we could also, for example, 60 Minutes has an interview coming up with Lou Elizondo. We could buy airtime on 60 Minutes and play our own UAP commercial. And that is like a political ad for congressmen and senators.
Wow.
It's a killer idea. It's a killer idea. And so he's working on that aspect of it. He also gave me some really good tips on outsourcing some of the website stuff and some of the like thumbnails and making sure the Twitter's on point, blue check marks, things like that. And he also suggested doing like segments, having like things that we always hit every show. One of them being this peach iced tea that I love to drink. It's a point that I'm going to hit a lot because I really want a Arizona peach iced tea sponsorship. And Michael, by the way, find something that you really love.
I will.
Yeah. So that's one of the things.
You did that. I'm like looking around my desk.
Right. No. Just. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did for about 24 hours after he told me. I was like, what can I mean, God, yeah. what can I push?
I was trying to
what can I push to the people? Anyway, but it's not a paid sponsorship. They're not paying me. I genuinely love Arizona Peach Iced Tea. I'm not saying that because they're paying me. They're not. I genuinely love their product.
Yeah. All right, so I have to find something I genuinely love.
Correct.
And
then just pop it in there every once in a while, sprinkle it in. But the other thing he suggested, I thought it was a great idea, was sort of like can't remember what you called it, Alex, but they're sort of like hit points, things that you always come back to, things we're known for.
Segments.
Like for example, McGowan mouth off. Right?
Yeah, segments.
Like I've got an idea for another McGowan mouth off kind of segment, and I got to just get in contact with the guy. I've been so busy, but there's a really cool dude I found on YouTube, and his channel is the Creepy Little Book, and he does.
I know. I've seen that guy. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he does like 2 shows a week or 2 shows a day. And he does them at like 3 a.m. East Coast time. Like he is a maniac with his shows, the times that he goes on. But their shows are fun. They're really, really cool. He's a super smart, very heavy vocabulary. He's just angelic with his words. But he covers vampires, like ghouls, goblins, all of the things that we would never do on this show because we just don't have the space. Not because we're not interested, or don't believe it's true. We just don't have the space for it. But I want to make a space for it, and I want to include him in on that, where maybe we get him to come in once a week and just give us, the creepy little book segment, 5 minutes or 2 minutes of him doing like creepy little book stuff because he's got such a cool setup. And I just want him to be on the show like once a week if I can. I mean, that's the idea. So things like that, where that we come back to. Benchmarks is what he calls it. Mostly space. Thank you for the $5 donation, dude. You are the man.
2 $5 donations.
2 $5 donations. Well, I guess he forgot his question. Sorry. I thought you were just being nice on this one. So he says Stephen Bassett is the only UFO lobbyist in existence. Maybe get him involved in this super PAC situation. Just saying. Stephen Bassett was on our show twice now. He is a big reason why the Big Phone Home was so successful. So yes, that's definitely someone we could reach out to and get some ideas from a super PAC point of view. The guy is I'm not on the fence about Bassett, but he's just so hardcore ET. Like he's convinced it's extraterrestrial, and I'm like, I think there's room for other things to fill that theory in addition to extraterrestrial. So
there's other theories, other hypotheses that we should be entertaining.
Yes,
we
correct.
Should be entertaining more than just one
but when it comes to how we did the Big Phone Home, the days, the people we called, these committees and subcommittees, he gave me a list of homework to do before the Big Phone Home. And it was, honestly, if I did not have Stephen Bassett in that conversation, the Big Phone Home would have been nowhere near as successful as it was. So I think that's a great idea. Thank you for suggesting that. I think you're right. So let's we gotta sit down with Alex, me and Alex, and just again talk about the super PAC thing, but some other things as well that this is what the dude does, So he loves the show. Obviously, he loves the show. He throws in $100 every time he watches it. Please go to the Patreon, Alex. He's like, why do you keep pushing this Patreon? I'm like, why are you even asking that question? What do you care? Just go to the Patreon already. Okay, so Michael, killer show today, dude. We had a big crowd today. It's died down a little bit, but not by much. But I guess we're wrapping the end here. So what you got anything for us?
Yeah, we almost broke 200, which is dope.
Dude, we're going to break pretty soon we're going to be breaking 5. I mean, like I'm not going to say.
You guys are amazing.
I'll just say I've been watching other streams with channels that have 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers, and they do live streams, and they only attract if most 500-600 people. So
we have the most engaged audience, though. Like
our audience, everyone is in the better chat than everyone.
Cared. Yeah. They're
like
so
they
engaged.
Really give a shit about this show. They're engaged. They call. They donate. They. I don't see super chats in any other UFO channel. Like they just don't happen. They don't happen. They happen here. I can't explain it. I think I can. I've got a theory. But
what's your theory?
Well, we're just better. We're more fun. We're more fun. We're more fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
That's a good point.
We always come back to our base point of reality. which once again for everyone out there is these things are real. There are things in the sky that our Navy, Pentagon, and Air Force pilots have chased, Navy pilots, and filmed on radar and have tracked them not only through submarines and warships, but through eyeballs as well, eyewitness accounts. And we saw that last night on 60 Minutes. So that's the baseline. The things are real. They're here. We're past the Rubicon of whether or not these things are real. They are 100% real. That's the baseline. Beyond that, we don't know yet. We just don't have the data. But God, you guys, we're now at the point where the government is saying they're real. That's fact. You can't parse that. You can't, no matter what Mick West does, he cannot twist that into anything else other than what it is. A fact. They're real. They're 100% in our airspace. Now the question is, what are they? And are we going to get any sort of answers to that? We'll see. That's what we're here for. You know, we're here to dissect all of these things that happen, every piece of news that comes down the pipe, every Twitter beef that happens, we're going to cover here because that's what we do. And we're going to have fun with it. We're going to make fun of it. And we're
going to make fun of ourselves.
We're going to make fun of ourselves. Each other. Like, you know, like for example, the one guy who said I was BS. Great, dude. Ugh, more of that. You want to rag on me more? Please do. Because it's more engagement. So go for it. You know, like you don't like the channel? Awesome. Hate watch it. Go for it. Like I love you if you're hate watching this show. You know? So, but I can tell you there's no other UFO. Dude, every other channel out there is their heads are spinning because they don't know what to do. They don't know how we're doing this every day and doing it with all of these panels and all of these interesting guests. And I'm starting to see a lot more panels too, which is great.
Yeah. And I think we're not as much interested in outcomes as we are in the process. I think the journey is the destination and the circumstance. And I think it's important that, and you've said this so many times, and we talked about this on the Big Phone Home, how critical it is for us all to come together. UFO Twitter has been, for so many people, a tough place, or like people really struggling, fighting with each other. It's like, man, like I get it. Everyone's passionate. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an idea, and they want to get that across, and I respect that. But if we can come together and have the conversation so that we actually hear each other and maybe take some information that we didn't have before and make a more informed decision, if we can do that while having fun and making fun of ourselves.
Yeah. But I mean, look, I know we like to have fun, but we also have some really brilliant minds on this show. Like, I love that we have Jazz on here all the time because Jazz was able to look at that video and go, yeah, that was probably filmed in the SIC or the, what is it? The Strategic Information Command or
CIC?
Something like that?
Or no,
SIC.
CIC?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I mess up the acronyms. Jazz does not mess up the acronyms, but Jazz was able to determine, okay, where, like when I asked the question, where do you think this happened on the ship, Jazz? Because I'm interested as just someone who is like, where did this come from? Where was this filmed? And he was like, CIC.
Combat Information Center. Yes.
CIC. It was filmed in the CIC.
Yeah.
And he was the first person to say that anywhere. It was a guess. It wasn't verified. It was just an educated guess. But it's a good educated guess because it's coming from a man who worked in the CIC. So he was a Navy man. And we have those kind of people on the show all the time to make sure that what we're saying is accurate or the theories that we're putting out there are accurate. And if they're not, if we get it wrong,
call us out on it.
Cool. Then call us out on it and we'll fix it. It's okay to be wrong on UFOs. I say it all the time. It's okay to be wrong in this topic, just as long as you don't dig in your heels and continue with the wrong, statement. If you can course correct, then do it, and that's what we do here. What we try to do. So anyway,
tomorrow.
Tell us what's going on tomorrow, Mikey. On
Singularity Lab, guys.
Remind us again.
Find us. Hit my Linktree down below in the description. Make sure you go to the Singularity Lab. Click the button. We're going to be talking about exopolitics tomorrow. What happens in a post-disclosure world? What does it look like? How do we talk about it? Is it something we should be talking about it? We've got some great guests. It's going to be a great show. We got Luis. You got me. You're going to have
UFO
Kristen.
Garage.
You're gonna have Dr. Lisa. You're gonna have the UFO garage.
Those guys are wild, man.
Dude,
they're funny.
So fun. These guys are hilarious. So join us there. It's gonna be a hell of a show. Follow me on Twitter at Singularity Mike. Luis, the pleasure is always mine. Thank you, brother, for building this, for putting it together.
Dude, we are this is a community effort, man. Like, this is our show. This is our show, and I love it. And I love that it's growing at the rate that it's growing. I honestly, dude, it's the thing that brings me the most pride and joy right now. Honestly, I love this show. Every day I look forward to doing this show, and I could do this forever. And if you want to make that happen, you can, guys. You know, just share the channel. Share the shit out of this channel. You don't have to donate $1. Just share it. Share. Post it to anywhere you think people would be interested in these kinds of discussions. Help us grow any way you can, whatever that means to you. So thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here. I'm going to let you get on out of here because you got a family and things to get to. And I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. I barely heard that. But
okay, later, brother. Deuces.
Later. All right, you guys. So that's the show for today. Thank you for calling in. Before we go, I want to say thank you to the sponsor, BlueMarlinChronicles.com, purveyors of the world's finest fishing tackle since 1995, a.k.a. UFO Dad. We got to get him back on the show. He's been really busy. UFO Dad will definitely be back. And then I also want to say thank you to Das Tapes, who provide all of the jams that you hear on this show. They're one of my favorite bands on the planet. I mean, if I said they were my favorite band, that'd be a little biased. They are my best friends. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, you guys, thank you all so damn much for everything you guys do. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore. I think I've said enough. I've appreciated you guys and pontificated long enough. So thank you all very much for coming aboard, getting weird with me here on another episode of the Unidentified Celebrity Review. Your home for credible news, reviews, and commentary on everything UFOs and UAPs. Until next time, my name's Luis Jimenez. Stay safe out there, you guys. Peace. Also, I'll be playing some music here. I'll be looking at your questions. So I'll let a couple songs play out and then we'll end the show officially. But if you have any other questions, anything, suggestions, leave them in the comments. I'll definitely be checking it out. Peace, guys. Love you all. Is that John? No way! No way! No way! Lippe in the house! You guys, this guy right here, I went to high school with. I learned all of my audio-visual techniques with this man, Jonathan Lippe. My dude, man, I hope you are well, bro. We might have to get you on this show. You'd be a fun guy to talk to because I know you're into this, man. So, dude, that's great. I'm so happy you found the show. I saw your name and I'm like, that can't be. There's no way. And then you wrote this. Dude, wow. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Holy cow. Holy cow. I will do that right now, Max. Well, as soon as the show ends because the signal's on my phone, which I'm filming with. So give me like 5 or 10 minutes and I'll check it out. Wow. Jonathan Lippe in the house. Love it.
should be a bartender in New York City. You should do it like this. Press the ladies. Oh, what's that? Where are you going later tonight? Oh, wait. I probably should talk about that. Shut up, hear me. It's all for show. The boys don't give a damn. Just holding hands. Yeah, I'm a man. You wanna keep it guys think? Do I need a haircut? Like, if I came out looking like this every day, would you watch this show? Would you? I don't know. This is the longest my hair's ever been, you guys. I'm gonna do the next show like this. To like Keanu Reeves, brah. Should I not get a haircut? Leave me a little comment in the chat. Let me know. Should I get a haircut? Should I not? I told my girlfriend I was gonna cut a mullet in my head. She was not happy about that. She doesn't even want to joke about it. Very upset. She might be hearing this now. All right, you guys. I love you all. I'm going to play one more jam, and we're going to get out of here. No to which part, the mullet or the haircut? I mean, I guess that would be both. Faux hawk. Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've rocked one of those. I could do it. I could do it.
Something just happened here, you guys. Something on Twitter just went down. Let's see what happened. I was told I was tagged in something. Okay. Okay, so this is Max Moskowitz in Denmark. Okay, he's got something going down here. Okay, so hold on a second. So let me... Damn it. I gotta pause this. Okay, how do I bring this back? Okay, hold on a second, guys. So let me kill the volume on that. Let me turn the volume up on this. Okay, so apparently Max Moskowitz has seen. Okay, so here's the Twitter I got. I got a message from Michael Mataluni saying, "Dude, Moskowitz just posted a pic of a UFO that he just shot on his phone. He said he saw at least 10 and has never seen a UFO in his life. I tagged you on Twitter." Okay. So this is the post he's talking about. Let's blow it up. All right, Max is not someone who's full of BS. I know Max. I've never seen this before in my life. He told me to check my Zignal. I'm assuming this is what he was talking about.
It's me.
I gotta shut my light off. I gotta see what's going on here. Let's see that again.
It's me.
It's me, Max Moskowitz. Okay, that was kind of cool, but I don't know. I didn't really see it do anything crazy. What's this he's filming? Oh, I can't tell.
Wow. Oh, shh.
Oh.
No way. No way. No way. No way, no way, no way.
Oh, why does it end there? Why does it end there, Mags? Oh, man. Okay, so what he says in his tweet is, what I'm seeing right now above Amsterdam is definitely UAP fabulous. I see Cam can't catch all of what I'm seeing. 3 dots in the sky moving around, and one of them just shot down, and that's what you can clearly see. You did clearly see one shoot down, but I didn't see where it shot down from. That's the only issue I had with it. I'm gonna blow this up for you guys here so you can see the whole thing. Wow. Rewind that real quick.
No.
Interesting. Look, guys, okay, to be fair, I've never met Max, but I've had a lot of conversations in a month with him. I've been on his show, he's been on my show.
We've had private conversations where we chat on Zignal all the time.
Wow.
I don't know him to be a guy who is full of it. And, you know, if he says he sees 3 dots in the sky moving around, it's funny that he also says, like, my camera can't see them. He can't catch all of what I'm seeing. So damn, yeah, we got to get him on the show and talk about this. Yeah, I got private messages from them. I don't want to read them out loud. Oh, wait, you guys can't see the private messages. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if we can get... Okay, yeah, let me just respond to some of these. Ooh, 442. I wonder if they're still going over at Andrew Hall's show. Interesting. Sorry, guys. I'm just... Let me turn the music back up.
Do an upright position.
And I'm just going to read what's up on Twitter, you guys. If anything happens, I'll come back. Thank you, Classic Kev. I appreciate it. That was interesting. I mean, we got to get Max on the show. I doubt Max is still watching. But yeah, I'd like to get his first eyewitness account. I wonder why he can't sleep now. Dude, Alright, you guys. I think I might get Max on the show. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, we're getting Max. I'm just gotta send him the link. Be patient with me here. If you want to share this link in and let people know we're gonna be talking to Max Moskovich. I don't know for how long. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how long we can get him. But his whole family's sleeping right now, but he said he can't sleep. And, you know, we might as well record this while it's fresh in his mind. It's important.
Coming, Max. Give me a second. Max,
Can you
what's
see me?
up? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, cool. Give me 2 seconds, man. I'm just tweeting everybody that you're coming on. Dude, I can't wait. I was just thinking about this, Max. I think it's important that you do this, man, so it's fresh in your mind. You talk about it.
Dude, I'm just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Nuts. Just lock the car. Still Amsterdam East.
Right, yeah. That's funny, dude. Okay.
All right.
2 seconds. I mean, I'm like live right now. People can hear what I'm saying. I'm just tweeting out. All right, give me a second, guys. We're about to go live with Max Moskovich. He's in Denmark right now. He can't sleep. He just saw UFO. And he filmed it. We just played the video on our live stream just now. Let me bring this down. Let me bring this over here. I wasn't planning to keep going live, but here we are. I was just playing the music to literally I was playing the last song, Max, and then you hit me up in the chat. You were like, dude, check your signal. I was like, okay, give me a couple minutes. I just got to wait for the show to end. And then Michael tweeted me. He's like, did you see what Max Moskovich just sent us? And I was like, no, I haven't seen it yet. So then I looked at it and I kept the live stream going. And I looked at the video that he tagged you tagged us in. And I just got done. I watched it twice. I watched it live here. Okay, so Max Moskovich, this is crazy, right? I can't. Yo, you're muted. You muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I had to creep out of the house because my whole family is sleeping. It's like 4:16 in the morning here. But I was going for a cigarette, one of my bad habits, to the balcony when I noticed something in the sky. And Louis, I can't see you anymore.
No, I know. I want people to see you on full screen.
Oh,
because it's dark. Yeah, so I want them to see your face while you tell this story.
Yeah. So I went for a cigarette on my balcony. And I saw some movement in the sky. I saw like 3 dots, like moving around, and those weren't planes because they were like very still, but sort of moving around. And I think you can sort of see it in the footage, but
it was tough.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, one dropped. And that one
saw that
clear.
Yeah.
And I made more footage. I'm still. I have not ever seen a UAP in my life.
Yeah.
Ever. And now I saw like 10. You know, first I saw the 3, then I saw the one drop. I went outside. I made more footage. I saw like in a row, one after the other go like this, you know, like in a lane, like that. And I was thinking about, you know, could it been, you know, the Starlink thing, because we saw that here in the sky, but that didn't make sense to me because why would I see first like 3 almost still hanging in the air, then one dropping, and then see like 10 in a row go like that? I am really
wow, yeah, I can see you're pretty flabbergasted by it. You don't strike me as the kind of person to make stuff up. I mean, you got the video, you just posted it tonight.
I will send you. You know.
Okay, so let me ask you this: was that the whole recording, or did you cut it, and then what? Did you yell to somebody? What happened? What happened after you cut the camera?
After I cut the camera?
Yeah, like when the video that I got is like, I think it's like 2 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Somebody said one after another. It could be the Starlink, but I mean, you just talked about the Starlink and how you've seen that before.
The ones where you see them in the lane. I didn't post that. I didn't send that.
No, you didn't. No. I think somebody is just responding to what you're saying. But no. Let me find. God, where did I? Hold on a second. Yeah, you only posted one video, right?
Yeah. So there's one video. And I did put them together. It's like because there were times that I was like putting the camera to the sky and you didn't see anything. So I just used the stuff where you do see something.
Right.
But I am going to extend you all the original material. And
Did you get any of them like making any sharp angle turns?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But with something like are you able to? I guess I mean you say definitely. I want to see it. Like I guess it's like because sometimes it's hard to see because the video that I saw when you were filming the one object, it was hard for you to focus because I am imagining it was far away.
No. You have to. I'm gonna send you the whole footage. What you see if you like enhance it.
Yeah.
Like 3 dots. The really bright one is actually a star, but if you look at what's going around that, then you go. You see 3 dots going like this. Look at my fingers, right? They go like this.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at because my I got this big light in front of me, so it's hard for me to see the light. I see one that's blinking, and then I see the one shoot down. Now the one that shoots down, what's that in relation? Like so out of the formation, the one that shoots down like that, where are those other 3 stars in relation to that one that shoots down?
Okay, so you have a good benchmark because of the apartment building right here, right?
Yeah, across the street.
Yeah, so you see exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, so you see the bright star, and just, I think it is under the bright star, you see like 3 dots, right? You really have to enhance it, and then they go like this.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see the 3 dots because I can't enhance it because I'm on Twitter. I'm looking at the video on Twitter. I don't have a way to enhance it. Like I've got it full screen, but it's hard for me to see. It's just hard for me to see. I see the star you're talking about. Yeah. And without a doubt, I see that streak, and it's a big streak. And the angle that it's coming at, I mean, it's straight down. Do you get anything that big that stops and then makes a turn?
In Amsterdam? What do you mean?
No, like in the video. In the video, did you get? You know how like that one that streaks down is super bright. You cannot miss it. Yeah. Did you get anything that bright, that big that you see turning, making crazy turns?
No. I don't think so. But you know what, Lewis?
Yeah.
I was filming what I was seeing. I was filming actually the movement of the UAPs.
Yeah.
That shoots down. I didn't plan on that.
No, of course not. Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Right in my face.
Yeah. Dude, that's wild. That's wild. Well, I love how you filmed yourself and you're like, "Hey, this is me," and then you pointed up to what was going on.
Purpose. I did that on purpose because I wanted to make sure, people are gonna say, "Oh, you pulled it out of the internet or you did something." No, I was just having a bad habit. I was smoking a cigarette on the balcony. And I have never seen a UAP in my life, and I saw it. I just saw it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy.
Well, you should write down the time, and there's got to be. Is there anyone that you could call tomorrow morning and see if any of this was reported elsewhere?
Definitely. You were in a podcast with my friends Bram and Alex. They have the UFO hotline in Holland.
Right.
So report sightings on their website.
Did you call the UFO hotline yet?
It's 4 a.m.
I know, but you should call.
No.
I'm sure you can leave a message,
No, I did text them,
Okay.
I know them personally.
Yeah, no, I know you know them personally, but I'm saying like that, like do it officially. You know what I'm saying? So it's a legit thing. It's like it's recorded officially. You know what I mean? Like that's why I wanted to talk to you, because now we've got you. Like, how long ago did this happen?
About 1-2 hours ago. I've been filming.
That's what I'm like. It's important to record you now, so it's fresh in your mind. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I have never seen anything like this in my life.
You're processing it.
I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's happening in real time. I love it. I love that we're getting to see this.
Yeah. So, and it's weird, I've been reporting on this, but I've never seen it, and now I see it, and it's almost like I'm having a weird dream or something. It's weird.
Yeah. Okay, so someone asked, was that clouds that the streak disappeared behind or into? Or did it go behind the building?
Oh, the bright one that dropped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to watch the footage again. But it looked like it disappeared, actually, not behind the building, but in the air.
Because I thought it looked like it disappeared because of the building was in the way.
Could be. I have to watch it again.
Yeah. Damn, dude, this is cool. Somebody said call the Dutch Air Force. They're open. They're open.
Yeah. There's definitely two F-16s on standby.
Yeah, well, somebody said that they called years ago and the local base sent up 2 jet fighters to intercept the object, and I got to see that. Report it. That's funny that you said that they got 2 jet fighters there, and this guy just said I called, and they sent 2 jet fighters up. Dude, he's kind of got a point, dude. Like, he's kind of got a point. I mean, they're not there anymore though now, right? So to scramble jets 2 hours after it happened, that might be.
Look, if these things for some reason popped up on the radar, or there were multiple reports on that, I would have heard jets right now. You know?
Yeah. Well, let me say this, because this guy makes a good point, and he's right. Okay, so let's think about this, because I know you're still processing stuff, but if this happens again, like this guy's right, and I think he lives in Holland.
Probably.
Okay, he says, if you ever see anything unidentified in the sky and moving or dropping, always report it. Seriously, it could also be a foreign enemy. Report it.
Yeah, well, look.
It's a she, by the way. She says, see the synchronicity? I'm a she. Yeah, but radar data is there.
Yeah. So, of course, report it. And I know people report usually to the police, right?
Yeah.
Call the police. And then the Dutch police calls like the Army Air Force Tower. And they will check their radar. It's in a place called New Milling. I know the protocol. But, yeah, it wasn't drones.
It didn't look like that one. Did not look like a drone. That's for sure. She also says that I reported it and then rang a journalist, and he confirmed the base sent up 2 jet fighters. I'm female and British. Well, Thank you for being here. That's amazing information, and you are 100% right. It's honestly, you remember the story I told you, right, of my sighting
when I was 13.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that happened, and I'll read this last report, this last comment in a second. There was a television show on the 90s on Fox, and I cannot remember the name of this show.
X-Files?
I think it no. I think it was called Sightings. And it was a TV show, kind of like Unsolved Mysteries, but it really focused on UFOs. And or not really UFOs, it focused on a lot of paranormal things, but at the end of the show, you could call and report a sighting to them. And I remember I wrote that number down as a kid, and when I had my sighting, it was on a weekend. I believe it was a Saturday. Yeah, because the next day I called was Sunday, and the hotline was not open. And I gave them a detailed account because I wrote down everything that happened that night. God, I wish I could find that journal. And it exists somewhere. I wish at the time I knew. I was only 13, but if I had known, we would have called the police or, but there was no cell phones in 1993. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was so much more difficult to report. But dude, that is really cool.
Man, your friend Mike said Cristina is a really good judge of footage. And I have a lot more footage.
How many minutes of footage did you take?
I think maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Did you get any footage of them zipping off?
Well, the one that dropped.
Yeah.
But then, it's hard to explain. But I checked my footage for briefly just before I came on to you. You do see them.
Yeah.
You do see them going. Dude, I hope Cristina can work with that footage.
I can't wait. I can't wait for her to go over it because she'll brighten it up or make it look, so you could see them better. I can't wait. I can't wait to see more. If you got 20 minutes of footage.
I got a lot. Because there was a lot of.
Did your wife see them?
I got to tell you, I was standing outside. And I had the doors closed because because of the draft, but I was like filming like this and like knocking on the window, hoping she would wake up, but she didn't wake up. Then I came inside, I woke her up, I showed her the footage, and she was just, I don't know, how do you call this? She was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Like I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
My parents acted that same way too.
Yeah, it's funny. This is kind of illustrative to a lot of people. Like me and you, we get all excited when we see the footage that was released in 2017. But 5% of Holland doesn't even care.
Yeah. Damn, dude, it's very, very cool. Let's see here. She says, "No worries. I know it's not easy, but it needs to be reported. Otherwise, no data. But so Stones people don't want to, and that's fine. But you both of you read American Cosmic. It's on Google Play. It's not I don't know shit. It's not my book, but it's part of Disclosure, and Lou Elizondo is mentioned in it. It's spectacular info, and you'll sit back after reading and go, what the fuck? But it's true. Man, okay. Yeah, dude, I think damn, your kids were sleeping because it was late at night. You were out smoking a cigarette. That's totally understandable. How cold is it over there?
It's actually pretty cold for May.
Yeah.
It's raining now. And I don't know American temperature. It's Celsius here, but it's not. Yeah, it's not even 10 degrees.
Okay, it's not even 10 degrees. What is that, guys, in the chat? 10 degrees. 10. Well, 10 degrees would be very cold here.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So what is it in Celsius?
I don't know.
You don't know what you are. How cold are you?
No,
How
it's
cold
10
is it?
Celsius.
Oh, 10 Celsius. Okay, got it. So what's 10 Celsius in Fahrenheit, I guess, is what I'm asking everybody in the chat. Dude, but I'm glad we recorded this, man, because now it's fresh on your mind. You know all the details. What was the coolest part about it?
Luke,
for you?
The coolest part is I got to see for the first time in my life a UAP, or UAPs. And when you see them moving, like way up in the air, you still think your mind is playing a trick on you. But then when you see that thing just drop like that, and you filmed it and you see the footage, you see it back.
Yeah.
So you have proof for yourself.
Yeah.
Your mind didn't play tricks on you. That's
well, your reaction to it was very cool too. You were like, "Whoa!" Let me ask you: when it dropped, was it stationary before, and then it just went whoo like that, or did it?
Lewis, I didn't even see it. I was focused on something else. I just saw it drop out of nowhere. I didn't even see it hovering. It was like it just appeared. It was crazy.
Got it. So how do you know that's not a meteor?
I'm pretty sure it's not a meteor because I saw like 3 UAPs moving around and I was filming them. And like big surprise, there's also a meteor in the mix, No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, did you see any other streaks like that tonight or just that one?
Oh, this is funny. I think it was not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, I saw something else, and I asked my UFO hotline guys about that. I saw a big, like, sort of a flash and shoot away, and of course, I immediately asked them, okay, I saw this. What is this? And they say, okay, it could be like a lightning bulb because there was like a thunderstorm somewhere. But maybe it was. I don't know. I did see something like a day or two ago. Still not sure what that was. Could be thunder, lightning. But I did see something. Yeah.
Well, are you gonna yell at your wife tomorrow morning when you are at breakfast and you'll be like, "Why the hell didn't you get up to see this?"
I'm not gonna be up for breakfast. I'm gonna be sleeping.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, man. Well, I'm not gonna take any more of your time because I know you're tired.
Yeah.
But I felt it was important to get this while it was fresh in your mind.
If Cristina or something, or you can extend me like a mail address, I'll send you everything. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you don't need a mailing address. Just send it in a WeTransfer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or just a file. Yeah, you don't have to mail it. I'm not a university, Max. I'm not gonna, dissect your video. If somebody said don't mess with the footage, I'm like, I don't care, dude. Like, I know Max. I'm just gonna brighten it up so I can see what he's talking about, and I'll zoom it in so I can look at what he's talking about, or I'll just screen record what you got here. Like, it's not a big deal. But it's so I could scrub through it. But yeah, I mean, I see. You know what, dude?
Yeah.
Was one of those lights blinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I do see the movement. If I scrub through the footage, I kind of see the movements a little better.
If you turn down the light,
yeah,
later on, and you
hold on. Let me turn down the light. Let me scrub through this. Oh, here, I'll do it with you here.
Oh, yeah.
So this is where, right about, see, you're filming them. I see the one like dot there, and then this is where it almost like where it streaks in. Where is it? Yeah, there's one. Okay, yeah, this is where it gets interesting. Something looks like it flies up, or you zoom down at it. And then, yeah, this is where the big bright one comes in.
Out of nowhere. And
yeah.
disappears.
No, it doesn't look like it disappears behind the building. You're right. It goes out right before it. Or before that ledge, anyway. Is there anything on that roof that
I can actually look onto that roof. There's nothing. It's flat. There's nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't look like it makes any crazy turns or movements or pauses.
Yeah. But if you scroll a little bit further into the footage, you can actually see the 3 UAPs.
Yeah. What is this? This
yeah,
thing?
That's like a thing in Holland. If you move to a new house, you can hang a rope on that and like hoist your furniture into the house.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's cool. Like now we've got a reference point. Because I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
So like, and it's like you could tell. I think what's happening is the camera is losing focus on that object, which is also so whatever the lights are, you didn't put there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing that you told me that because it's having a hard time focusing. And now I think you either shut off the camera or cut it to something else. And now you just got the light in the middle there. So what's going on with this light in the middle?
I think that's just a star.
Okay, got it. So that's nothing. But yeah, it's hard for me to see the lights around it that you're talking about.
Yeah. But if you go a little bit more forward.
Yeah, I'm going.
And then I'm going down, and then you will see them moving.
Oh, like right here.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see one. Yeah. Okay, I see one moving toward it, right? Toward the star.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But there were actually 2 more, but you can't...
Yeah, it's hard to see them.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, it's a cell phone camera. Don't be too hard on yourself. But the cool thing about it is that that post that you just told me about, like that adds a lot of layers to this because you could tell that the camera is having a tough time focusing. So that's like it's not BS footage. So yeah, dude, I can't wait to take a look at what else you got because I want to bump up the brightness on that. So or put it in like a filtered form, put some sort of filter on it that maybe highlights those things a little better.
Yeah,
that's not hard. I mean, those are just simple things that you could just play with in an editing machine.
Yeah, so I really hope I do have like a montage program. Maybe I can do it, but I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah,
I'm not that.
Yeah. Just send me the whole file if you can. So that way I could just slap a filter on it and scrub through it and see what I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's cool, dude. Thank you for sharing, man. I really appreciate it. And I think it's important, and I'm glad that we got all of this on record. Like, because now the memory of it won't change because now you've got the record of it. You've got the fresh memory. So, I mean, that's always important to sort of journalize those things. But
yeah, and I can't wait to see if there were other people who seeing this.
Hell yeah! I mean, I guarantee you weren't the only person in Holland smoking a cigarette on their balcony.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, my man. Well, have a good night. Get some sleep. Hopefully, this helps you sleep a little bit. You got it off your chest now, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis.
Yeah. There you go, dude. All right, man. Well, thank you for sharing, and yeah, let's talk again when we look at the footage.
Definitely. I'm gonna extend you all the footage.
Hey, real quick, now that I have you here, what did you think of this whole week?
Man, what a week! What
a killer week! Well, dude,
let's.
I
stayed up for 60 minutes last night.
Yeah.
And the internet dropped in Amsterdam.
Oh my God! How frustrating! Did you get to see it this morning or today?
I saw it all, but you know what, man, I just can't believe we are experiencing this. You know, it's like it's almost like a dream or a fantasy. You know, I just want to pinch myself. Is this happening? Is this real? You know?
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. You know, I love it. It's I kind of feel privileged too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I get that. Well, dude, many more good days ahead, I think, when it comes to this conversation. So, so have a good night, get some sleep, and hopefully I didn't get you in trouble with your wife.
I always am in trouble with my wife.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Bye. Wow. That was cool. All right. I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Thank you all so much for sticking around. I had no idea that was going to happen. We got a cool UFO story and some video from Max Moskovich that just happened an hour and a half ago. So, I think it was right to talk about it, put it on the record while you got it fresh in your mind, so that way the memory of it doesn't change. So that was cool, man. That was really cool that happened, and he got to experience something weird like that. So yeah, good on you, Max. I think people would have been hesitant to share, but he was really excited to share, and I think that's cool. So yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe we could get him on tomorrow. Who knows? I want to get the whole video and put it in my editing software and see what we can see. But yeah, thanks guys. I will see you later. I'm just gonna straight up end this. All right, peace.